Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas to everybody. Ho, 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 ho. And I hope you're all having a good Synth Geekery show. This is the Christmas edition of Synth Geekery. This is it'll probably be our 5th or 6th one now. Yes, hope you're all having a nice, well, depending on what part of the world you're in. Usually you get a couple of days off if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and we get a lot of days off if we're kids that go to school in Australia because it's summer holidays here, and this is sweltering hot underneath this hat. It's a 36-degree day. It's probably sitting at around 30 degrees at 9 p.m. Wow. Geez, I'll tell you what, we should probably get stuck into the show because we've got a few things to get through. I just thought I'd mention hello and welcome. It's episode 275. There you go. There's a bit of a number for you. I don't know what that one works out to be. Today is Saturday, the 21st of December, if you haven't worked it out. We're streaming live from Perth, Western Australia, and it's currently 9 p.m, as I mentioned. Synth Geekery is a weekly podcast about synthesizers, sequencers, drum machines, music technology, and also other music type stuff as well. We have our regular segments, and we usually try and cover a show topic each week. We'll be bringing you the show we've been bringing you the show for the last 5 years. Over that time, I always get asked, how can I contribute to keep the show going? We have our Streamlabs TTS tips link here. It's pinned in the chat. You can use that because due to sort of heavy YouTube monetization, I guess you would call it, we get stung about 30% sort of on the side. And I just wanted to show you if you click on the link, this is what it looks like.
Check on 2.
So do utilize that. There's a couple of cool things that you can do in there. You can do GIFs, animations, and stuff like that. So do click on the link and utilize the chat thing there. But yeah, what else can we talk about? We can talk about the guests that are on the show. I mean, of course, if you don't want to do the TTS thing through Streamlabs, they only charge 3%, by the way. You can just use the features that are available in YouTube, like, for example, Super Chats. I'm quite happy with you guys to use that. Or just become a member of the channel. That's a good one. I'm going to say good day to the members of the channel, actually. We are definitely going to say to our channel members, we have got quite a lot here already. There's about 38 people according to YouTube. Probably people are busy this time of the year, but hopefully we can get that number a bit up. I would like to see. Anyway, first channel member to pop in today was Dave. Big welcome to you, mate. You'll see him in the chat as Asef Stripe. And then we've got Human Error. Big welcome to you. Inverted Popes is our moderator in the chat. So make sure you make him happy because he will give you a big slap if you don't. Just kidding. Thanks, IP. Kent Spong is in there. Morning, darlings, he says to everyone. We've got Andy SynthAddict we'll get to meet in a sec. He's another one of our moderators. You'll see him on the video screen in a sec. We've got Wagoo there. He's one of our Patreons. And who else? Lots of chatties. Anyway, you guys can see their names as it's scrolling. And we also have video guests, and look at them all turn up at the last second today.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, so now they're doing mic checks because this is what happens when you turn up at the last second.
Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you, Ian.
I didn't even have time to type in the chat that I was late.
I can hear you, Chris. You're working.
Good, excellent.
Andy,
check yours?
No, you're not working,
nope.
Andy. Let me just check.
Technical issues.
I just want to make sure I'm not muting.
And mine
Andy.
just works perfectly as always.
Darren, you're just amazing. Like, everyone bow to Darren's awesomeness. Like, let's just go full screen. Let's just go full screen on Daren. Look how amazing he is. Look at that. Actually, while we got you here, Daren, how's your week been? Really? Are you joking?
You're muted. He's winding you up, Rant.
Yeah, no, I was winding you up. I was saying this here.
Very good.
I change it. I'll just change it for Kent every week.
What is this
never
like?
Be plugged in. It'll just change.
One of these things is not like the other. Yeah. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, spot the difference.
Oh dear.
All right.
Oh.
While we go across, I'll just quickly go back to everyone before Daren. Before we do you, while we go across to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, I do want to wish all you guys that are here on the video side a Merry Christmas. Don't forget that you can join us with Zoom, and I think the Zoom button is that one. If you do want to be part of the show, we've got 100 spots available on Zoom. So, yep, you can do that. There's nobody in there at the moment. But don't worry, we can fit you all in somehow. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'll fit you all in. But while we are going across and talking to everyone, go back to Daren. Daren, do you have anything that you'd like to say to Santa while we're asking how your week's been?
Do I have anything to say to Santa? Yeah, drop as many products off here as you can.
Yeah.
Free of charge, obviously.
You weren't naughty at all this year?
You what?
You weren't naughty. You're not on the naughty list, are you?
Oh, no. I hope not. I hope not, no. I have bought a product, though. I have got a Christmas present.
Oh, you have?
I have, yes. I have a present.
You have a box?
I have a box, and it's a module, believe it or not.
Wow.
Ooh.
A module.
Jeez. Are you pinching yourself
Question
right now?
is, what module is it? I am. I bet you all are, because I've not touched the modular for, I don't know, for ages. So what module do you think I've got?
I wouldn't have a clue, mate.
We'll find out in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you tease.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on to the next, or you got something more you want to add?
Have I? Check out Chrissy's vocals on the track last week.
Oh yeah, do check out
Yes.
Daren's channel. There's a link in the description of this video to his YouTube channel, so do check it out. Because there's look at that. Look at how I can control this kind of cool stuff here. Look.
I'm feeling dizzy.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
So Chris, I spent 20 minutes messing about with your vocals because I only did it on Sunday morning, and it was like I need to put the video out by 2 o'clock, so I had to do the start about 9 o'clock. Messing about with your vocals, and I thought, it's not going to be brilliant, but we'll give it a go. And halfway through it, because it was going to be quite mellow and sort of, with the vocals quite sort of, floaty like
Relaxed.
the original, like the first minimal one, until the purple one ran in and slapped me again and said, it needs to have a bit more oomph to it. So it's ended up like that. So not completely finished, but
It was a good move of Rave Dave, I think, to come in there and slap you around.
yeah, I think so.
Slacking off, I don't know, 20 minutes.
I know, 20 minutes,
Of
and it went
course.
all purple after that.
Of course, in 20 minutes, he can do a better job than I can in like a week.
Why don't we go across to Chris anyway? Chris, Merry Christmas. How's your week been?
Cheers, mate.
Let us know what you want from Santa.
I'll put that at the end. So this week I've had some arrivals. Some circuit boards have turned up. So, for people who like looking at circuit boards.
Oh yeah, that's that project board thing that you were doing.
Yeah, project board. And this is the you snap them off, and they're it's going to be a little LED strip
Oh yeah,
for
nice.
doing some audio metering. So that's what's going on there.
Couldn't get the thing to bloody work, so have it here instead. Keep it up, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
XXX.
Spong.
Oh,
Thank you,
Spongster.
darling.
Lovely man. Right, I'm back to normal again. Yes. So what else was I saying? Well, I've had some good news. I've sold 2 modules this week, 2 complete modules. So that's that was unexpected, but always a joy. So that's good. I'm enjoying Daren's handiwork, as we talked about. I've been shooting the next follow-up video to my 2 182s and a GP82, and that did involve some writing of new firmware. There is a new firmware for the GP82. It's really only going to be super interesting, I think, to people who have multiple step sequencers and want to combine them into the one sort of mega patch with the GP82. It's basically it's an enhancement that allows it to. It's called auto switch, so it's pretty obvious what it does. It automatically switches between one sequencer for rhythm control and another sequencer from rhythm control, which is never done before. So they've been testing that this week. It seems to be working rather well. And I shot the video, most of the video with that, and then I went off on a cool tangent because the Honor I turned up and turned everything into ambient bliss. So wrote some stuff as well that I wasn't intending to write, which is great news. So there will be some ambient stuff coming from me, I think. I'm probably going to pull out the longer section of that video and into a separate video and just put it up as a track. That seems to be the thing to do. So I'll probably be doing that. Yes. So apart from that, it's been a busy week doing Christmas shopping. So my head's full of buying stuff for other people, not so much thinking about my own stuff. But yes, Ranz, what would I like this year? Well, I can't have the Lin drum because that's going to take LM drum because that's going to take months to get here. But I can ask Santa for it nonetheless. I can ask for a new firmware for the Iteritas Meat Freak. Oh wow, there is one. Cool. So I'll be playing with that this weekend. I haven't had a chance to yet. What else do I want? I would like. I have to admit, I am going to interrupt my spiel for one thing. Ranzee, may I ask how little Bonnie is going?
Yes.
I'll give you an update on Bonnie when I get to me. So
okay.
We'll do that.
Okay. Okay, no worries. Yep. So yeah, what else would Santa need to get me this? Ooh. Well, I tell you what, I would love some time. I would love some time to be able to catch up on all the things that I haven't done during December because it's December. It was Armageddon December. I get the two confused. So it's a nuts time for me. Yeah, it's a nuts time for me anyway. So I kind of forget to sort of make a little hole in the year for December, and sort of schedule things a bit after that. So we'll get there. It's usually a bit of a panic, and then things get really calm, and you've got a bit of time to spend. So I'm looking forward to spending some time building kits, building modules for people, doing design, getting firmware finished, all the good stuff. That's pretty much a
fabulous.
fun year end for me.
Awesome.
Back to you, Rants.
Actually, we're going to go over to Andy, who's on the other side of the world. Hey, mate.
Hey, is this
Merry
working
Christmas. Now? It is working now.
Yeah, good.
Let us know what you want from Santa, don't forget, at the end of your little how's your week been spiel.
I already got my gift from Santa this week, and as a hint, I'll tell you all, Mele Kalikimake Meka Haoli Maka Ihiki Hu.
Okay, so it's Japanese.
No, it's Hawaiian for Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I just came back from Kauai, so I was there all week, and just kind of under the radar because streaming wasn't working. I figured why announce it if I'm not going to be doing anything for any people to really watch. So I have gobs and gobs of video to edit. Just got back last night.
How long does it take to fly to Honolulu now?
No, we went to Lihue, which is in Kauai.
Yeah, but
so it was about 5 hours.
Direct from San
It's about an hour between the far islands, so it's like 40, something like that. So it's about 5 hours from here. It's a 2-hour time difference from here, so that wasn't a big change really. But it is part of their wetter season. So although it was very nice most of the time, you have to deal with the if you've been to tropical rainforest, you know this, that you get rain showers randomly throughout the time you're there. You sometimes a couple times a day. Usually it's no big deal. You get a little wet, so what? You don't even feel it. It doesn't bother you, even if it's a little breezy. I was, in and out of the water doing snorkeling, and the water's like a slightly cooler swimming pool temperature, which is fine because you get used to that really quick, and then you get out of the water and you're not freezing because it feels great. So, but it is humid. So as soon as you get out of the shower, you're immediately sweating, and it doesn't evaporate right away because it's humid. so you have to be used to being wet part of the day. Yeah, but that's the tropics. If you've ever been to the tropics, that's how it works. But it was beautiful, and just if you guys haven't been to Hawaii, you should definitely try it. I mean, Oahu is like the worst. It's like being in California with some tropical accents because it's so populated and so built up at big cities and stuff. The Kauai is like smaller, sleepier aspects of the Big Island with landmass. So you can't drive around the entire island because they have, and I have some videos of this stuff later, but the opening of the Jurassic Park was shot in Kauai on the Nepali coast with the crazy formations of eroded basalt formations and clouds above it and stuff. So it's really beautiful there. It's just unbelievable. Lots of crazy birds, and there's a native goose called the Nene goose, which is protected everywhere. Nene goose crossing signs. Very nice, pleasant goose. They're not like the typical Chinese goose you get in yards and ponds and stuff. That's honk 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 and aggressive and stuff. These are very pleasant little geese, and they often, unfortunately, beg for food a lot because people have been feeding them. Unlike you're told not to do it, but they do it anyway. So every morning I'd open the window at the sliding door, and there's a goose looking for food again. So I had a morning goose begging for food. It was really cute, so I got some footage of that I'll put in the video. But I just felt bad because people are not supposed to feed these things, right? So you get some beautiful shots because of that, but I just felt sorry for the guys. But the other funny thing about the island is there are literally chickens everywhere. And finally had to ask a local at one of these scenic outlooks I went to. I said, "What is up with the chickens everywhere? I mean, they're literally everywhere." And the roosters are constantly cock-a-doodle-doo, not just in the morning, but all day long, right? And I go, "Why are there so many chickens?" He said, "Back in the 90s, there was a big hurricane, and a bunch of chickens at homes and stuff got out, and they never got them all back, and they just populated like crazy. So that like there are more chickens than any native birds. Just the chickens everywhere. They're outnumbering all the birds, all the geese, everything. So you'll just see chickens everywhere, more than pigeons, more than anything. It's hilarious. At the Walmart parking lot, there are chickens everywhere. So I thought that was really hilarious. So you'll see all that stuff in my silly videos. But that was my Christmas fun. No music stuff this week, really, just because I've been immersed in that and pretty much offline 90% of the time. Partly because there's not much of a signal in some parts of the island, and just for enjoying myself, having fun, doing stuff there in nature and nice. All that stuff. Yeah, it's good times.
Great.
And of course, I wear a lot of sunblock and I wear a hat, so I don't tan. You can't tell. I don't look any different. If I look different, I'd just be burned to crisp, right? So I have to protect myself
exactly
as a pale white boy. So,
well, I think
also
happy
to be here. Still
finds the break.
Yeah, I'm still tired as hell as usual, but for a different reason because I was traveling. So.
Yeah, interesting that the flight time between your joint and Hawaii and your joint and New York is about the same.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're kind of halfway.
Since I've been there.
You're halfway between New York flying to Hawaii, sort of thing.
It's that damn Earth curvature. It's not a flat Earth. So
yeah. Well.
What? It's not.
Yeah.
Let's not.
I'm sorry.
Let's not stop.
Sorry to burst your bubble there.
I don't believe that.
All right.
You'd be telling us that Santa Claus isn't real next.
I even shot that. If you haven't been on a plane in a while, like United has the thing where you can see the globe. And you can see your progress on the globe with the plane. I love taking pictures of that for the flat earthers. It's great. So.
Yeah.
All right, over to Ian. Merry Christmas, mate.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Good day, good afternoon, good evening. Wow, what a morning! I've been busy this morning, and then I was late into the studio, and to suddenly find that either the microphone's not working or the Tascam, my £48,000 Tascam 24. Isn't working properly, so that's why I'm on this little thing here. Busy week. It's Christmas week, so lots of orders out, which is quite nice. We've sold our first subscription to the white label stuff, so thank you, Colin. His stuff went out a couple of days ago. Got got a new signing to Sinners Music, which is a band called Ramshackled. I'm not keen on the name, but it's their name. We're going to have a single out at the end of January, album by spring, they've said. They're local. They're not local to Frome, but they're local to the southwest. So I think one of them lives in Bruton, which is about half an hour away from here. I've been doing some music. I've been trying to learn the Ambient Zero, which is all right actually. It is very menu divey. We were talking to Robbie yesterday about this. It's more menu divey than I really like, but I'm okay with it really. Oh yes, Sinners Music is now on Instagram. It's not my work. Jason's done it. So if you're on Instagram, Sinners Music Records. That's the only name we could take. So he's only going to put a message out every week. So once a week there'll be something, which Jason's doing all that for us. And my Christmas gift, my Christmas wish, which won't happen, would be to have the Teenage Engineering OPXY. I want that, but I'm not going to get it for Christmas.
Got to manifest it, buddy. You got to manifest it. That's what they say.
In our family, we've got a limit of £5, so I don't think it's going to happen here.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
As in £5 in weight? Yeah, it's probably about £5.
No, just £5 in units. So $10, $10 trillion. That's what we've been doing this for quite a few years, actually. So, they're actually the boys. I think the boys are clubbing together to write me a book. I've given them a list of books that I want, so it'll be a sort of £20 present, but from all four of them.
Brilliant.
So good week actually. Quite
awesome.
Enjoyed it.
Hope you get your Tascam working again. You can.
Fiddle
during the show if you want.
Well, I've disconnected the mic now. It could be the mic lead. But it's been working fine, obviously. But anyway. Oh, just one last shout out. Jane's dad's in hospital, so Brian, please get well soon. We want to see you on Boxing Day. He's hoping to get out for Christmas, but he's been in hospital all week. He's knocking on a bit. He's 91, bless him. So fingers crossed you're going to make it to see you at Southampton on Boxing Day.
Oh, that's a shame. Hope he gets better. Ian.
Yeah. He's in the right place now. He's been ill for about 3 weeks, and seeing lots of doctors. But he's now in hospital and he's getting proper treatment, which is good.
He's not a Saints fan, is he?
No, he doesn't do. He does rugby.
Oh, okay, good. Because he probably doesn't want to be right now.
No.
All right. We'll go back to me for a sec. There's a couple of little things I forgot to get through. Oh, there we go. Ooh. That was a bit weird how it was kind of like glitch.
Double
glitch. Couple of things we should mention. Obviously, anything that we show during the show, we will show on the blog, which is ranzee.com. Just want to quickly sort of remind people that there is a blog over there, ranzee.com.
There is a blog.
As you can see, last week's show is on there, and all the previous shows are there as well. And articles, like, for example, there's an article I wrote for Raspberry Pi for Synths, and mainly just wrote it for selfish reasons. But, you guys are interested in that, you can have a squeeze. But there's last week's show, links to everything, links to the guests, their YouTubes, their Bandcamps, links to the watch on a replay, all the images we showed on Funny Side, all the fantastic amount of Behringer crap we showed during the show. And if I scroll really quickly past all that, because they got enough airtime as it is. Oh, look at his lovely face. All the other products we showed. Look at all the Price Watch stuff that Andy brought in. All the links to that. And also all the images, just in case those links ever go down. We've always got images that we can click on and we can check out. And it's all there. So do check out Ranzee.com. It's not getting as much love as I'd thought it would. Probably a bit of a common theme with my show lately. Just not getting much love. You guys love it, but it's it's not aimed at you. But
Is it YouTube shadow blocking? But
I don't know. But if I ever take a week off or 2 weeks off, it's almost like I have to do another year straight before I recover from that. It's kind of like
God.
people punish you just for
Continuity,
taking, a week off.
Oh, that's a bit of a YouTube
I
thing,
think that's
isn't
the
it?
same anyway.
It
'cause
is a
in
YouTube thing.
even on a smaller, even on a smaller
Yeah.
scale, if I don't put a video out at least once a fortnight that I've got into, then it's like no one watches it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
it is.
like,
It's a bit like that.
Not
Now,
getting suggested.
Bonnie is going well. I feel like she's going from strength to strength. I don't think she's still 100%. Like, I don't think she's out of the woods yet. And obviously, we've still got some future vet visits that we are going to do coming up. She's still got some internal organ injuries that we have to sort of deal with. She's on medication and things like that. But this week, I just watched her slowly progressing, and she's starting to play again with her toys and things like that. So that is really, really good signs. So thanks to everyone for all your wishes for her. She's doing really, really well, and can't be any happier. Really, we were talking about it today. Like, I don't care how much it cost us. The outcome was amazing. As a family, we're going to have a really, really tight Christmas this year because we just don't have any money because it all went on the vet bills. But
Low key.
That's how it is.
You only need one thing, family.
Oh
Yeah.
And I spent the day today. I spent about $200 on pool chemicals today, so I was getting all the pool nice and crispy looking. So did all that, brushed all the sides down. It's out there for about an hour and a half in the 36 degree.
You mean you were cleaning the pool?
Clean the pool.
Hey, speaking of pool, when it's your hottest days, how warm does your pool get?
I've got a concrete pool, so not that. It's actually pretty cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We can heat it too. We've got a gas
Thermal
heater
mass.
on it. So it's actually beautiful. On like a 40-degree day, you want that pool. It's like icy cold, beautiful.
Oh, sure.
So what I was going to say is, don't forget about. I mentioned before about Zoom. I posted the link in. I'll post it again. So do join us today if you can on the show, because I'll just post that link up there again. bit.ly/Ranzee Zoom. And also during the week, we also do the Discord stuff. And I've noticed there's been some people coming and there's some people leaving, and it's kind of like one door closes, another door opens. But do join us. It's free to join Discord. There's no subscription. You don't need the app. You can just do it through your browser. And there's a whole heap of stuff going on Discord. You could almost make a show out of it on its own, to be fair. I mentioned before too that you can contribute to the show in other ways. One of the things you could do is really, really simply just like the stream, subscribe, do all the basic YouTube stuff. So please, if you are enjoying the show so far, please click like, and much appreciate that, because it does help with the algorithms. I mean, if you want to click the other one, the dislike, go for it. I don't really... I kind of wouldn't mind knowing why you don't like it, but anyway, that's fine. Going back to the Ranzee website, I just wanted to show you one other thing too. We do have a segment on the show that only ever happens when someone contributes to it, and that's the Name That Synth segment. So if you guys have been watching the show for years, you'll know this is a very popular segment when we get them coming in, and there is a prize that we can give to people who guess it correctly, and that's Plugin Guru's Unify software. So this web page here will tell you how to play and how to contribute, and there's an even example video there, and even if you win, you can fill out the winner's form down the bottom. So that's all there. So do not forget about Name That Synth. I would love if you guys could contribute someone. Even someone new. I reckon it'd be cool if we got someone new that we had someone new a couple of weeks ago. That was good. So that's awesome. What else can I talk about before we go on to the main segments? I think I've covered all that. No, we can talk about the main segments now. So, with said hello to Chatties, we will go straight to regular segments time, starting with Funny Side. Memes that will look like this. Does anyone know what it is? I know what it is. Chris?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Ian?
Oh, yes, I know what it is, yes.
How many times have you pulled that sucker out and cleaned it?
Millions. Absolutely millions.
I used to peel them back and throw them at people.
Oh.
It was quite an enjoyable job, though, wasn't
people
it?
with that. I used to
Getting the
get
fluff out
the
of it.
was a little
so you
devil.
twist it around with your fingers, right? And then that little
Yeah,
disc
yeah.
pops out, and the ball pops out. And I used to get my fingernail and just scrape off
Yeah.
all the desk gunk on those
Yeah,
rollers.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
You also get stuff
gets
wrapped
in.
around the rollers too, like hair and stuff. So-
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Well, especially
That's it.
Actually, very,
especially
very
because
pleasurable.
It's a
mine-
way of cleaning your desk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does have that authentic kind of
Oh, this old guy just
gritty
talking about the
kind
old
of-
days.
gritty yellow kind of hue about it as well. That stuff from that period always sort of
Oh,
turns to.
the bromide.
Yeah.
Quickly mentioned, I didn't get to see this when it came through, but thank you very much, Dave, for the $9.99. Happy holidays, he said, and it just came through on the chat. Did we get it in time? That's the question. Where is the chat? Ooh,
It's just covered by
no, click
It's
on
sort
that.
of-
There you go. Look at that.
There you go. It'll stay.
Click on that.
Excellent. Technology, wonderful stuff.
All right, let's go back to our segment. Fantastic.
When it
Thank you,
works.
buddy. Did it actually? It didn't pop up though, did it? Normally we get the
Yeah, it
little
did. It
pop-up.
popped up. I said,
No.
I said thank you. It did.
Oh, it did.
It popped
It did?
up. I said
Okay.
thank you, but I
I
was
never saw
muted.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did.
Selective blindness. Yeah, it's like the gorilla in the background of the passing. The
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah, yeah.
This is the other meme that I thought we'd put in for this week. I don't need to actually put any writing on this at all. All you have to do is watch last week's show. And I don't really like. Okay, so Chris, I think you're as excited as this guy was with his firmware update with your
You can
mini
take me out to
fresh
show the
firmware
whole thing.
update. But
Yeah.
if you ever
I'm
get
definitely
excited
gonna-
about firmware updates, this is the
I will
faces
have
that
to
you
do
need
a
pull.
reaction. Maybe I should do a reaction video where I somewhat overreact.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look, Daren, I'm
I might
sure
do that when I unbox my when I unbox this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
You
always
have
say
to wonder,
when
is
you,
this his review or is this OnlyFans page? Why is he doing these faces? So.
because
Yeah,
because he
oh, I
did the
see,
firmware
yes.
update to the Pro VS. That's what it is.
Ooh, that's his.
That's his face.
Face. Yeah.
Darren, have you done your firmware update yet?
I have no. I will do it, but I will have ultimate faces for what's in here.
All right.
Absolutely.
Promise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I'll have what
Jeez,
he's having.
I hope the boy's not the little Dave boy's not underneath the desk just there. Anyway, let's go next.
Oh,
Sorry,
ouch.
sorry, Darren. YouTubers,
He's gonna come and pull your knobs.
the second they see
Oh.
a new synth on YouTube, this
No.
is what they do. Yes. Robbie posted that one in Discord during the week, so we get a big hello to Robbie if he's around.
Yes.
Did I see him?
Hey.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was. Is that? It was there.
What else we got?
Hey, buddy.
This one is from Chris. Thanks, mate, for that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
How to mix a Lin drum. I like this one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, or LM drum if you really want to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like some of those instruments are getting, the wrong end of the stick. Really, the is it the snare and the hi hats, and then you've got some of the rim shots and the claps and things, the cowbells.
I was going to say it's either AI generated or someone just went. It looks nice when you do this. There you go.
Snaky.
I'm a product placement salesperson, photographer.
Although
Stylist.
people famous for swapping out the ROMs, right? So they didn't always want the stock sounds. You could just put your own samples in there. So
Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for the memes for the week. What was your favourite one, please?
It's got to be the Scuzzy Ball for
Or have
me.
you forgotten them already?
The ball's
I
pretty good.
forgot.
Yeah.
But the mouse is a
Scuzzy-
classic.
Scuzzy-
The ball mouse is.
Yeah,
Let us know in
that's
chat.
taken me back 20 years.
Okay.
Let us know in the chat.
So we had
Balls.
spying on YouTube videos,
Yeah, I knew graphic
the mouse,
equalizer, yep.
the Lin drum. Yep.
Ah, cool.
Ooh.
Mm.
The Behringer's guys and expressions. I'm kind of going with that one too. Wags. I thought that was pretty funny.
The funny thing about the ball mouse is you took for granted you had to use it on a flat surface. All the optical mice you can put on your leg and use as a mouse pad, but you can't with the ball mouse. It has to be hanging.
Yeah.
So
Your balls have to hang. That's
Yeah,
right.
Balls always have to be hanging.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we don't realize how lucky we are with optical mice, do we? We're just so lucky. But anyway,
Well, until your battery starts going in it, and then you're scrummaging around for a battery.
I reckon the mouse has got it this week, guys.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with synthesizers, and the mouse has got it. Crazy.
I hate the Mises to pieces.
Look,
Or you have a magic mouse like that, and you need to charge it, but you still need to use a computer at the same time.
you people have
That's
a go at
Magic Mouse
me
2, yeah.
for not talking about synth-related topics, and look at the meme that you voted for.
Someone
It's a bit of
said
a bit
trap.
boiling the kettle black, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, it's a big wide world out there. We're a broad church, aren't we? Let's face it.
We are. Just kidding. Right, let's go into the news, people. World's best stinger. Right, because it's quick. Jeez, what happened then?
Oh,
It just loves that paint audio computer effects.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not a black cat, so it's not a glitch in the matrix.
I can't even be bothered with it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
I just can't be bothered.
It's Christmas time.
Okay, so I did fix it last week, right?
Yeah. And then you do a
And-
dry run, and it works perfectly, and then you do the real thing, and it doesn't.
If I go data sources, hang on, guys, just please bear with me for a sec. There you go. All I had to do was just refresh it, and it comes up. It's just weird. Why do I have to do that? Anyway, it is a Google Sheet, by the way. I just want to make sure that we're on the first one. We are. That is good news. Okay, here we go.
Excellent.
Right, LA Priest Polygene is an interesting thing. Have you guys seen this?
No.
So what you're looking at is like a pretty much the raw PCB, right? The circuit board, for those who are a bit layman terms, and all the components are sort of hanging out on there, like the resistors and bits and pieces, LEDs and stuff. But that's it. Like you've got these little touch panels down the bottom, these copper touch panels.
Cool.
And there's a few other touch points all sort of around there. Plus you've got knobbage for Daren. Daren likes his knobbage. But let me tell you a little bit about it. This thing is a polyphonic analog synthesizer with what they would call, I'm not going to say this is my words, this is what they would call an exotic design. It's inspired by the early 70s type polysynths. It's got discrete analog all transistor circuitry, handmade using through-hole components, and that's one of the reasons why I feel like, in a way, this is a celebration of through-hole discrete circuitry, which, if you think about it, is what everyone like. Why hasn't my synth got through-hole discrete circuitry? Why is it all SMC? You know, this is kind of like, it's almost like
Well, here you go,
showcasing it. This is a work of art, right?
Yeah.
But aside from the interface, let's talk about what it's got. It has 24 oscillators, 12 tunable and 12 sub, 24 voltage controlled envelope generators, and 24 voltage controlled VCAs.
Nice.
And then on bottom, there's 3 oscillators that can go into the sub bass range. You can use a unique oscillator sync method, which bridges the transistors by hand. So those little touch points you can actually bridge. Yeah. And you can play each note independently with custom scaling and tuning, giving you a 24-voice multi-timbral synth. 12 tuning controls will allow you to tune the 12 pairs of oscillators to any scale, from a standard equal tuning to any microtonal and non-Western or even unison tuning. Alternatively, you can play all 24 notes simultaneously for an analog polyphonic synth. They call it an exotic touch operation, which maybe you shouldn't lick your fingers, but I'm not sure. But it's
high voltage.
It's not traditionally playable with keys or MIDI, but you actually have to play it on the circuit board. So you can touch any part of the synthesizer to bridge any connections in the circuitry, shaping and creating sound. So this is a real sort of
tweaker.
Make my hair stand on end type thing.
Literally.
Hopefully it's
Low voltage. Yeah.
doesn't give us bad
Won't be
RS.
names.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah, I'm going to show you the video in a sec. Don't
All
worry.
right, cool. Right.
It only goes for a minute.
Yeah,
Other than that, I guess it's kind of got a bit of an EMS synthy / mini moog vibe to it. If you guys are sort of wondering what it sounds like, but instead of wondering, why don't we just show you what it sounds like by doing this?
Yeah.
All right. It was interesting that video. I kind of feel a little bit weird by this. I don't know about you guys. It's hard to get, by the way. I just found out that there was a pre-order phase for this thing, and I believe it's over now. So we're showing a product that you can't even pre-order anymore, and it's unknown whether they're going to release it as a regular product on the market, which is kind of weird. But anyway, let's talk about it. Thoughts? Let's get us up here on this way.
The best sounding circuit bend thing I've ever heard, because it's done on purpose to sound nice. So.
Yeah.
Do we have a rough idea of how much it costs?
€1,477.
Whoa.
Or 1,538 US dollars. And it says sold out on their website at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yes, it's obviously for people who
that includes shipping though.
Really want to interact with the circuits physically.
Yeah.
So if that's a fascination for you, I think this would be right up your street. But yeah, it doesn't quite do it for me.
I hope it has a top, because I feel, if you kind of carry it around, it's quite vulnerable.
It's going to get broke quite easy.
It is, isn't it?
Coca-Cola anywhere near it, or beer.
I quite like it, but it didn't sound. It sounded nice, but it didn't sound like anything I couldn't get from any other synths to some extent.
Very square wave.
Yes, and I do like the sort of weirdness of being able to interact with it, by touch. But I can do all that with the Soma. So the price is ridiculous. The price is way too much.
Well, yeah, it might be compared to those mass-producing companies, but don't forget this thing's a handmade, bespoke company.
That's a lot of soldering. I'll tell you now, that is a lot of soldering. I mean, it'd be fun, but I think after the 100th one, you'd be pretty much dead.
It's also great as future work for Kent. Kent will never run out of work if those kind of things keep coming out. All those discrete circuits.
Yeah.
Well, they're easy to. The thing about discrete circuits is they're easy to circuit bend. And like you were saying, Andy, this looks like a circuit bent synth, but it just it's like it wants to be bent. This thing.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
As they say in the UK, are you well bent? Well, I think this is.
Or get bent. How about that?
Yeah, get bent. Absolutely. They should have called it the poly bent instead of the polygene. Yeah. Chatties, let us know in chat. Be part of the show, Chatties. Don't just talk about friggin', I don't know what you guys are talking about in there. MES 303s and H20 polys. And...
Excuse me, there's a program going on at the moment,
If you're going to have your own conversation,
don't do your technical support.
I'll turn you off.
In the middle of the street.
Considering the machine's got a good point, he'd buy 2 Lyra 8s for that money, and you would. you know,
Yep.
or a Larry
Yeah,
and another and something else that's, you know,
This
like,
this does have that sort of whiff of, you know, the idea is what's driving people's purchase here. I think it's very much an idea thing. People do get obsessed sometimes with ideas, so I think this is a little bit in that area. Because I don't.
There's things like the plinky, things like that will do this, does the same sort of thing, which is all sort of touch. You don't get to see the components, but and the plinky's nowhere near.
I keep forgetting about plinky. That's pretty cool. I like plinky.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
they're always in short supply.
They're making it again. Well, they're making it again. It's been.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. Thonk have been selling many kits over the last couple of months. It's back in, back being produced.
I remember when Alex first announced that thing.
Yeah, I think it was it's a circuit revision for a new
available CPUs. It was always on my radar too.
We're back.
Well,
they did have it at Bristonica, and I had to play with it there. Yeah, quite liked it, really.
If you guys thought that Polygene was interesting, and I have to say that definitely was something sort of mainstream. Like that synth was definitely unique.
Yeah, very edgy.
I have seen, you know, touch synths before. This is not like a unique thing to touch them, but the way that you have to kind of get the modulation and the LFO and everything, like you actually have to make finger connections on it. This is kind of interesting. I feel like there's going to be some people out there that will love this thing because it'll just it'll just bring them back to more that tactile sort of controllability.
Your patch charts will just be your fingers, drawings of your fingers over the board.
Yeah. I think you smash some bananas over it and
I must say I do rather love the actual visual design language.
I think it looks
those
great.
traces are quite pretty. Yeah, they're really cool.
It's almost like an Egyptian hieroglyphic sort of feel to it, doesn't it? Especially with the way those
or maybe more
copper
Mayan
things
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Some
I'm not
ancient
sure.
culture.
Something,
Sanskrit.
definitely something like that. Now,
Cool.
That's not going to disappoint, and either's the next one. This next product is, I feel, just as interesting. And not eurorack. Well, get aside from that. Get aside from that. This is actually so ULT Sound are bringing out this thing called the DS-1, which is a eurorack adaptation of the DS4, which is an analog clone of the really rare Toyo Gaki DS4 drum synth that came from the 80s. Now, this particular eurorack module itself is a generative type drum machine. And I guess what I can show you before we sort of go further is, I believe there's a photo of the DS4 next. Yeah, so that's the original DS4 from the 80s, right? And there was a black version too. It was like a black screen version. So what they've done is they've made two different color faceplate versions. So you can go after the sort of yellow and blue colorful one, or the black face version on the right. Anyway, what can I tell you about it? There's a video to show you in a sec. Now, this video is from a guy called Karab Love Roman. He's only got 20 subscribers, but I haven't been able to get permission for him to show his video, so I'm just going to sort of I'm just going to go for a copyright claim, bugger it. We'll just play it because I want you guys to listen to this thing. I think it's worth me risking a copyright claim just so you can hear it, because it's the only video that's out there on it. Anyway, it's a what can I say? Multi-wave VCO with kind of like an attack sustain envelope with a long and short with multicolor noise, so you get different colors of your noise with a mixer and LFO. It also has new features which the original didn't have. For example, there's a new mixer feature which blends between the VCO, the triangle, and the noise sources, and also that comes with 4 percussion modes offering various, they call it colors, I guess, probably sort of based on the fact that it's noise. And then you get an LFO which has speed level controls with retrigger option, because it's a percussive sounding thing, right? And then the interface side, you've got multiple CV inputs, 1 volt per octave, gate, external input, LFO speed, LFO level, mix, sweep. The main sound comes out of the main output. I kind of guess it's $400 US for this. I kind of guess this thing's going to get sampled the pants out of it. And let's go and have a listen. By the way, when you listen to this, it's, how would I say? It's more of a clinical video where you'd kind of sort of see what sounds it can generate. But what I want you guys to think about is how unique this is as a drum sort of sound synth. All right, let's pause it there. I kind of feel like for it, I can't remember how many HP it was, but it looks like sort of, I don't know, maybe 20 HP, I think 18 HP, something like that. As a module itself, it kind of has a bit of a DFAM sort of feel, don't you guys reckon? Has a Moog DFAM sort of feel to it.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind
I'll tell you
of.
what it reminds
My
me
favorite
of.
thing is the hot faders, as Dom would call it. The guy was doing the hot faders technique.
Oh, yeah. Like he's a
Oh,
DJ.
yes,
He's
yes.
a DJ.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah.
to be a DJ, this guy.
That was a Dom
Yeah.
classic, the hot faders.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I did find it slightly irritating, if I'm honest.
I love that sort of 80s, pinball machine type glitchy sounds. I really do.
Yeah, right.
For me, it's.
Can we just?
Yeah.
Just a slight aside. Can we just thank Mets303 who has gifted 20 memberships?
Yes.
To everybody.
I didn't even see that.
So thank you. Yeah. So thanks, Mets. That's lovely.
Oh, beautiful. Good on you, mate. Awesome. Now, where was I?
So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm not a fan of that sort of sound, if I'm honest. Reminding me of that 1980s syndrome sound, which the JHS do, which I absolutely hated.
Yes.
It
takes a bit of.
Yeah.
Synth toms can be fun, but they can be overused.
It's.
Yeah.
I have a module.
I can see myself getting this.
I have a module that is very similar to this. You may not have heard of it. The DSM.
Yeah.
So I think it may be based on the same origins, but they branched. This one's obviously got more controls than this DSM thing I'm talking about, which I'll just show you actually. Yes, that's a SynthAddict DSM module. Yeah, you can get. I can tell you a bit more about where you can get that from, but it has very similar kind of controls. It's definitely got the same kind of DNA to it, with the sensitivity input and the basic decay envelope on the pitch and the balance of noise to oscillator. It's even got the 3 different flavors of noise. So when I saw this, and it's got that LFO that does the audio rate modulation. So I held my breath until I heard the video, but the tones are very, very similar. So if you're looking for something similar, there are other options as
Oh,
well.
absolutely. I think,
I'm actually a big fan of that kind of sound too.
I think the noise engineering products kind of get close to that sound as well. So if you know what the noise engineering modules do with some of their FME digital sort of stuff, they get sort of close to that as well. But the thing with this is not digital at all, or FM at all. This is analog.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of things that caught my eye. If we go and have a look at the paused video for a sec.
Yeah.
I love how the tuning on the VCO is kind of all chromatic, right? So you've got, C, C sharp, D, you've got,
that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm wondering whether that's accurate or if it's just there for show. But there is a fine tune below it. So maybe that's a coarse tune, and I'm not sure if it's notched, that knob, or...
Yeah. It's kind of looks... It definitely, to me, it's got more, way more patch points on this guy. So, you got me interested now, because I'm thinking, ooh, it's kind of like a souped-up version of this module. So, yeah, I'm interested too now.
If we go back to the 80s version, right? So if you look at that module, it's kind of like, so that's like four of them.
Yeah, 4 channels, yeah.
And that's one of them.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, kind of, this is what I was saying before. You would do this and sample it, right? And then you would create all these different cool sounding percussive sounds.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of people would have fun sampling it. That's what I think.
Yeah, because it really is. I know this thing. It's very much like, slight changes in knob position make a massive difference to the sound, and there's little sweet spots. And if you go off that a bit, you're like, oh no, let's go back again, because it does go through some of those really cheesy, awful, pingy sounds that you're just going and then it comes to something that's really
just set up with your
meaty
1010 bit box and you sample it away.
Yeah. No, I dig it. It's right up my alley.
Yeah, some interesting comments in chat, guys. If you are wanting stuff to be read out on the show, if you want your comments read out on the show, best way to do it is through a super chat. Of course, it'll come automatically into the show. But if you want to try your luck, you can highlight my name, and I'll hopefully see it. Yeah. Right. We've got 2 of Andy right now, but that's okay. We'll fix that. I think we should move on to the next. I told you the price of that, didn't I? It was 400. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might show you guys a little bit later if we get time the one of the noise engineering modules, and just kind of even though it's a digital module, it's FM, but it does kind of sort of travel to those sort of similarities. But does anyone actually have much knowledge about the Toyo Gaki drum machine? Because it is quite rare, the original. So, yeah. Or even ULT Sound as themselves as a company. Yeah. Anyway. What else we got? Looks like the YouTube website's doing an all snap on me in my Chrome browser. So that's interesting. Anyway, hopefully that reloads. There we go. The last one is from Noise Engineering, and it is the Toros Iteritas Alia. And there's a video. So maybe we're not going to do the full video of these guys because it's about 8 minutes long. But let's do the intro, definitely.
Toros Iteritas Alia, a multi-operator, 3-algorithm phase modulation oscillator from Noise Engineering. Toros prioritizes immediacy and, of course, epic sounds. Whether you are creating dark drones with monolithic tones or big banging and ringing textures, Toros is ready to shape your patch into something immersive and hypnotic. Toros is the 7th module on the Alia platform, so you can swap this firmware with any other Alia module in your case. Before we get to the panel and controls, keep those drones alive by liking and subscribing to this channel. Stay in the Sonic Loop with updates.
We'll skip that.
At the top, the 4 LEDs show the input and output activity. Pitch is the global pitch offset and CV input for all oscillators.
Let's see if we can
Press-
get this looking a bit.
Press and
better.
turn for adjustment in semitones. And turn for fine tuning. The knobs on this module are grouped in pairs 1, 2, and 3. Each top knob offsets the oscillator frequency with fine control near the center and coarser control near the edges. The bottom knob of each pair is Blendex. This controls the output mix level versus the amount of modulation to the next oscillator in the algorithm.
There we have it, boys. That lovely DX sound.
The top switch selects the routing algorithm. Chill mode uses 4 oscillators. The first 3 can route straight to the output or to the 4th oscillator's phase modulation input using the Blendex controls.
Oh, it's very lost in space, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Oh,
You like
Danger, Will Robertson.
that's amazing.
Buzz mode also uses 4 oscillators. The first 3 can route straight to the output or to the next oscillator's phase modulation input using Blendex.
Oh, we're getting some noise now. Beautiful. Oh, look at that syncy sound.
And Chaos mode uses 3 oscillators. Oscillators 1 and 2 can route to the output or the next oscillator's input using Blendex, while oscillator 3 can route either to the output or back to oscillator 1's phase modulation input.
Basically, you're just creating algorithms.
Yeah, lots of wild synclavier sounds in there.
The bottom switch sets the range of the 3 frequency knobs. To the left, the range is plus or minus 4 semitones. In the center, plus or minus 12.
Yeah, we get it. All right, so a couple of things to talk about this. So multi-operator. So I think he said 3 operators, didn't he? 3 algorithm phase modulation oscillator. So it's a PM oscillator, if you know, which is basically a DX7. They were PMs really. Taking inspiration from your favorite things about FM synthesizers and doing it in a way it's with complicated interface, doing away with complicated interfaces and mysterious controls is what they say. So it prioritizes immediacy and of course epic sounds. I think I kind of agree with that. There's this Blendex with the capital B. Blendex controls allows the user to route each oscillator with the PM for the next oscillator in an algorithm or direct the out to the output. You can fine-tune the output with your needs with frequency controls and constrain the range of span to a minor third, an octave or 2 octaves. Dial in the morph between anything from dark to noisy tones, sub-shaking sounds with easy complete CV-able interface that you see down the bottom. There's quite a lot of CV controls. It is $385 US for a 10 HP module. Most of the noise engineering modules are around the 10 HP. Guys, thoughts of a bit of PM? Robbie was probably in chat thinking, oh my god, it's Eurorack, but it sounds amazing.
Hopefully,
I'm torn.
Yes. Well, we've had quite a few recently FM sort of leaning modules in Eurorack this whole year. Because there's also the one from Rick, OIK, which is considerably
he's amazing.
a lot bigger. Yeah. But it's again, it's another take on FM, trying to make it a bit more accessible. I like this. It's sounds very interesting.
Yeah. There's with the frequency. With the noise engineering guys, there's a very clever musical take that they put towards their modules. So you probably find with some Eurorack, you approach a module and it's more of an engineering sort of take. I always find their modules is immediately to do with music and sound generation. So it's kind of, I feel that's the way that they seem to work, and it's quite easy to work out the logic behind their stuff. So
the musicians modular company.
Yeah. And taking a bit
of
that out of the PM sort of, programming a PM synth is,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
We don't want that. So anyway, I kind of feel like Korg have done a good job with OP6. There's people who have already done some good jobs with it.
I love the OP6. Sat up there. And I'm not into FM, but it makes it so accessible. It's brilliant.
Yeah. All I'm sort of thinking is imagine this going through a filter, or an effects like some sort of some sort of BBD based analog effect, and how those sharp sort of
edges, phase shifter. Yes, very good.
Those sharp sort of sounds that you were getting out of that, like considering that, I mean, it's a whole bunch of sine waves, right? And you were getting such sharp sort of cutting sort of sounds out of it. It would
chainsaws, I call them.
Yeah, it'll just kind of it would just lap it up in a filter somewhere, or any yeah,
chainsaw music. Yeah.
I dig that. When you guys look at this stuff and you think to yourself, my DX7 can do that. Okay, cool. Let's see it do it that quickly.
Well, you can with the
punching in
the Yelling House controller, right? With all the controls.
Yeah, if you can get that one, if you can get that,
or DT7, whatever the other
the
Deltronics one, D-Tronics.
Yeah, that's it. Righty, well, that's it for products this week. There was only 3. I kind of feel like all the other channels did the firmware update from Mini Freak to death, so I don't need to show that. You guys up ahead on that. I'll just keep getting upset that I don't own one if I watch it.
Yeah,
because
that's good.
It fits, the Mini Freak fits in my love type of synth corner, and that is, if you look at the synths that I love the most, and Sonic ESQ1, Novation Peak, Arturia Mini Freak, there's a Waldorf synth that fits in that space as well. What is it unique about it? It's digital sound generation with analog filters, and then you've got digital manipulation with the other stuff as well. I like that. I love that sort of hybrid marriage, and really, really digging what that firmware update brings. So, do go check out those other shows that covered it really well. I think Arturia's channel covered it pretty good. But the sample thing was kind of interesting, wasn't it? The little sample play feature that they brought in.
Yeah, there's just a lot of talk about the lack of user samples and upload, which is it's really, really odd. I've gone so far as actually looked through the folder structure on the new version just to see if the techniques are the same as they were for the wavetables, and they are. They're in another subdirectory, and they're all there. Like, you could, if you wanted to, modify those to be your own samples. The risk is that there's something else they're doing they know about those samples and what length they are. I don't know. Because they've really... It's just really odd that they've kind of obviously engineered out the functionality deliberately, even though technologically it isn't a problem. But it feels a bit icky for me. It's kind of like a marketing thing. Like, it's one of the first things I've seen that really does. You can't explain any other way other than they're withholding technology so that they can get sales, which I just don't like that. But I better be careful what
I think is weird. I remember how the Microfreak added the vocoder later. The stuff was already there, but they added the software, and the hardware is behind, like a little, basically.
Yeah.
They'd use a special jack to get in there. But there was always speculation that Mini Freak would also do the same because of some hardware in the back, and they could do it with software, but no one's done it yet, right? There's no vocoder option on the Mini Freak, right?
No, not even a hint of it. But
I wonder if it's going to come or not.
I think they're going more down this sort of granular, wavetable sampling path. But they might. But that's I think they've been that way and not the vocoder way.
I mean, I have to say I've got a micro freak. I've got a mini freak, and I think the granular element of it's okay, but there's a lot better synths to do granular with than the mini freak. The micro freak,
on the iPad.
I found it a bit. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I just found it a little bit limiting, really, from a granular point of view.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, even the Poly N tracker does an amazing little granular synth on there.
Yeah,
it did. It was actually far better. Yes, yeah.
So that's interesting because I've got both. So I've got the tracker and the mini freak. So it's going to be interesting. And I've got the ambient zero as well. So sorry, no, the
you got the granular one. What's the granular?
Yeah, the sculpt.
What's the granular one?
Oh, I just forget what it is. Which I wonder. I wonder
modal.
if I'll get.
Are you talking about the modal?
No, it's the.
Because the modal sculpt's not granular.
No.
Sorry, it's
I've got that.
Anyway, when you think of it,
is it the Liven mod?
Yes, it's the Liven one.
Oh,
it's
the Sonic
Liven,
yeah, Sonic
granular thing.
Liven.
Whatever it is. Robbie will tell us. He's got all of them.
Forgotten what
collect them all.
Texture Labs, thank you.
Texture Labs.
That was it.
Yeah, sorry. So we have that, and I didn't necessarily get along with that particularly well. So it would be interesting to see if the Arteria works better for me. And I haven't really explored the texture synth and the poly and tracker yet either. So it'll be interesting. I'll report back. I think in 2026 or something when I get around to it.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, granular synths. I kind of feel like you can be spoilt and then you can be starved, depending on how they implement it. So, sometimes with the spoilt ones, you then become too engrossed in too much of the tweaky stuff and not enough of the sound design stuff. So, where do we go?
Navel gazing, so you get too navel gazing and stop making music, and you got to head back in the other direction.
I feel like a good interface design. I liked. See, for me, I think the Arteria did a really good interface design on the Mini Freak, and one of the things I like about this, and it's very similar to the ESQ1 in its adage. So when you have those little sort of triangular buttons on the corners of the panels, and you press those, and your context menu pops up with whatever that particular scope that you've pressed belongs to. And I feel that's what the ESQ1 was like too. So you would have a menu.
Moog 1 did that a lot too.
Yeah. So that's a sensible way of interface designing. And then that way, when you're doing things like granular sound design, you're not being distracted by menu diving into the layers of depths of granular
It doesn't
synthesis.
take you out of the thought process of producing or sculpting a granular sound.
Yeah. Like Ian says, like you don't want to be doing, spreadsheets of sound design.
No.
Exactly, yeah.
Because synths can be spreadsheety. A lot of synths.
But then use C Sound. If you're going to do that, just use C Sound in a command editor.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Super Collider, one of those.
I remember Super Collider, yeah. Is that still going, Super Collider?
I think so.
It's around, yeah.
Could be a good topic for a show in the future. Maybe next year we could do a little granular synth. Where are we at? Review. See what's out there.
I mean, back in the day, there was and it was on. I think I was still on PC. There was a really great little granular synth that I used to use In fact, I did a whole album with it. I can't remember what it's called now, but and it was free. Brilliant little synth, And I have to say, all of the other implementations of granular synthesis haven't come close to how good that was.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up as to what it was called. It's long gone because it's on 32-bit software, and it was freeware, so it wasn't updated.
I got sent an update this today, and it was from Oleg Greywolf for the Blue Up. He's asked me to show it on the show. He literally only gave 5 minutes before the show aired, so I haven't had a chance to go through it. So I will probably push that one across through to the next show. So there is an update for Blue Up for those people who own the Blue Ups, and it is still being updated and developed, and the guy's still working on it, although maybe not as actively as what he had in the past. But just so you know, there's things going on. What I was trying to find, I don't know how far back I have to go. I was trying to find where I posted on the Discord channel the link to that really cheap guitar pedal that sounded like the Big Sky. Do you guys remember when I posted that?
Oh, the Temu link, was it?
Temu
or
one, yeah.
eBay, yeah.
Was it eBay, Temu?
Wow.
I was going to show that on the show, and I've completely just remembered it, and now I've forgotten where it is.
I can go looking for it in the background if you like.
Yeah, if you guys could hunt for that. Oh, there it is. Found it. AliExpress. Okay, let's get a photo of this up. Can we take a photo of this? I want to show you this because I find this really intriguing.
Is AliExpress all right? I've never used it.
I use it for electronics though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Multi-wave.
Yeah, I've not used it in the UK neither. I keep looking at.
No,
A lot of microscope
have
down
massive,
there, so.
And we probably have massive import duties now.
I feel like my computer's getting hot because it's just showing me signs of I'm not happy. Anyway, this is it here. It's Mini Universe M Wave. This is the pedal. You guys have probably heard of these. They're floating around in some of those Chinese type retail places. So you'll probably see these on Amazon for a lot more than what you get on AliExpress, that's for sure. But I priced this thing at $38 Australian, so halve that. So it's not even like, what is that, 19 pounds. That is dirt cheap, right?
Yeah.
It is currently on sale though, and I don't know when did I post this? 26th of November, so that might have been a Black Friday sale, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it is a digital reverb effects pedal, and it has 9 modes, and it sounds like the Big Sky. And there's some examples of it, and there's some people that have got this and have gone, this thing's actually really, really good for the money.
It's like a pedal version of FX8, right? So
yeah, it's on. I can see it on AliExpress here for £19.09. Free delivery.
That's it for $28.
That is so cheap.
Yeah, 41 quid on Amazon.
Yeah, there you go. See, exactly what I
said.
See, people are buying them on Ali and then whacking them up on Amazon and making a few quid.
Yeah.
And people on Amazon are probably buying them, right? Thinking, 45 quid for a guitar pedal, that's amazing.
Still pretty good price,
Yeah. So, look,
say,
guys,
it's still not bad if it's
rush out and buy it. I mean, it's dirt cheap. It's probably stepping on a whole bunch of copyrights' toes, no doubt.
Yes,
like all of these Chinese copies that are out there. But
say, if you're not a fan
intellectual
of
property,
products,
what's that?
Can't remember where I read it. I think it actually might have been Reddit where I actually read it, which is a bad joke, but it is true. That there's synth people that are raving about this pedal, saying it's really cheap and it sounds really good. And like if you're going to go, but it's got a hiss and or what, like if you're going to start doing that, it's £19. What do you want? So I wouldn't be surprised if a few of those will rock out. But I just thought I forgot to show it last week. Better show it this week. There we go. Shall we head on over to, speaking of kind of pricing, shall we head on over to Price Watch? We didn't do one last week, did we? No, we did last week, but didn't do the week
did.
before.
It was
That was Andy
sponsored by our. Yes, they did a sterling job of giving us.
Well, this is sponsored by me, because I did a sterling job. And the Roland SH101. Here we go. $1,749 US or 2,932 Australian dollars.
That's because it's the red one.
Yeah.
Time for Rance's graph again, showing us the. Oh, nice. Very nice.
There you go.
That's a Behringer that I just held up.
Oh, that's so
But you have the one
confusing.
that's labeled 101, right? The rare.
I've got the one that's labeled
rare
101, which they got briefly
Yeah.
told to
Oh,
stop
to
doing.
MS1
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid, but anyway, prices of, as I mentioned a million times over on the show, if you guys have been watching, prices of SH101s have not been affected whatsoever in the used market by the Behringer. And here's another bit of evidence. I mean, they're not
Or the boutique.
like smashing massive high prices or anything, but geez, I mean, $1,500 plus US for
Yeah.
80 synth is pretty good, pretty good money to hold on to.
Does this have the grip?
There's a live listing. Let's have a quick look. It's on Reverbs.
You got to have
one of the
guitar
pictures?
action with this thing.
It's on the Reverbs. Let's go into
Yeah.
here.
I'll pass on the keyboard action, thanks. I mean the guitar action.
Hey, good, Nick.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's a hair on there if you want the hair as well.
I had trouble finding just the red boutique version.
You've just made me sad.
yeah,
Youch.
bad.
Oh,
Oh, another one.
another one on the corner. Oh dear, that suggests that.
That looks like
Scene of the
a
accident. Hang on,
different color battery cover there.
aftermarket.
Right, let's have a look to see if there's a bit of a dent there. No, there's no photos
Oh.
of.
Maybe he broke it when it fell, and it broke the case as well.
There's
He
no
broke the
photos
guitar
inside
part.
the battery cover, right? Because we do want to see that. People who, if you're selling your SH101, please take photos
Yeah, my battery
inside.
case colour's exactly the same colour.
Yeah.
So,
Inside
Yeah,
the
we see the
battery.
corrosion of the battery.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you've got to show the inside corrosion photos of
spring
the,
gets all
of the
chewed up.
spring.
there's
Or
no-
lack-
there's no
or
corrosion
lack
in mine.
thereof. Yeah.
Can't get it open. But there's no corrosion in mine.
But you're not selling
A
yours,
little
so you don't
bit.
care.
Well, that's just... No, not so.
But yours has still got the
A little mark there.
the problem, hasn't it, with the capacitors in it, Darren? Doesn't it?
Yeah, it needs work.
Recap.
work on it.
Recapping.
Do you have the keytar
Yeah.
neck, Darren?
No, I don't actually. I only picked it up for.
Oh.
How do it's when I bought that, it was only I think it was 140 quid. I think I paid for it.
It's a
at the
good
time.
deal, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. So that was years ago.
When I started looking, they were about
Years and years
$1,000, and now they're just crazy.
Who likes Roland gear?
Yeah.
I like Roland gear.
Of course.
Well, we
Yeah.
talked about this
Yeah.
little sucker last week. We talked about the ProMars
ProMars.
last week because I mentioned that it's basically the poor cousin of the Jupiter 4, the monophonic version of the Jupiter 4, if you want to call it that. I mean, it's slightly different, but it's not like pinch hairs. But 11,000 Australian dollars or 6,900 US, if you want to go that way. Since when did the Australian dollar nearly become half of the US dollar? That sucks. Jeez,
It just got worse.
We are getting bad over here.
Yeah, it just got
They're
worse.
going to stop
too.
printing money here. It's going to turn
Well,
into
that plus your
Zimbabwe.
shipping, right? And you get screwed on the shipping, it sounds like, all the time. So,
It's going to be Zimbabwe soon. It's going to be $1 million for a lolly. Right.
Or a
here we go.
lettuce.
1
Yeah.
million Turkish lira is like $1.50 or whatever.
That's in good nick, this one. This is in very good nick. That's probably why it's
Yeah.
fetching such a good price. I'm looking at more at the wood
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that usually shows... Oh, there's a scratch there. Okay. $1,000 off for the scratch. Anyway, that's nice intimate look at the ProMars, and it's got the original case, which is always nice to have. So I would like a ProMars. I really would. I actually think it's one of my favorite sounding mono synths.
The plug out's good. The ProMars plug out. Is
Yeah,
nice.
I love the plug out. It's a really cool thing. All right, let's keep on along the Roland theme and show this one because we'd like to show Jupiter 8s when we show SH101s because they're kind of similar in the sense that they both fetch a fairly decent resale. But
they're
I
both
actually think this is
the same
cheap
pantheon
for a
of
Jupiter 8.
fame.
I have seen Jupiter 8 prices go nasty in the past, and this price is not bad
It's a small
considering 17.5 US or 30 thou on the Aussie dollar. This one's in Arizona. Nice.
Cool.
Did they end up voting for Trump in Arizona? Can't remember.
Of course.
Yeah.
When my friends moved there, it became completely brainwashed by Trump. It's unreal. The guy's just got off the deep end. So, yeah, totally different guy.
Thought I'd trigger you a bit there, Andy, when I mentioned that.
Oh, it's just it's
it
funny
Trump
and sad
or
at the same time. So,
You know what I've always loved about this synth? I love how there's that little perspex cover over the LED screen. And it's got the 4 little screws. It's so cool.
It reminds me
love
of
that.
Was it clock radios or something?
Yeah, like the old.
There's
digital
something.
clock
It's like
radios.
because it's because it's a piece of perspex. Like I like it just because it's wears its engineering on its sleeve.
That and the aluminium sides. When I got my System 8. Sorry, I was very lucky to get the aluminium sides for it, and it's something that I absolutely love. Is the aluminium sides. But yeah,
it is lovely.
It's a design classic, isn't it? Really, it looks great.
yeah.
Very.
I mean,
inviting.
in terms of immediacy, this is actually one of the easiest polysynths to ever play because it's just so with the sliders. Like it's like an SH101 with all the sliders, right? And you know how easy the SH101 is to program and play. This thing is just so easy. It's so immediate, which is one of the things why people love it so much. And then obviously with the way the oscillators work and the sync and all that sort of stuff.
Well, it's like the TR-808. It's very colorful. Also has easy to edit stuff. It's sensible. So.
Happened to my mouse. All right, we are going to close that browser down because it's causing me trouble. Sorry. Oh, what's going on there? Oh, that's just a little bits of metal being bent. Okay, on the DCB. There you go.
Oh, there's a mark.
Jupiter 8. Jupiter 8. But that's not all, people. Just when you thought you hadn't seen enough Roland, well, guess what? Now you can have a look at an Akai.
Nice one. Is this another virtual analog, or is it the analog?
No, this is an analog.
It's
the
a proper
AX60.
DCO analog.
Yeah.
Cool.
One of my favorite sounding Akai synths too. Love the synth. It's actually really.
I like
good.
the X80 better. It also looks cooler, but
same
idea.
The 80 was newer or older. I can't remember. I never remember that.
I think it's older. It has a mono out, which is crazy, right?
I think this is kind of similar to the. I'm not saying the synths are similar, but I'm saying it's a similar argument. The Jupiter 8 versus the Jupiter 6, the AX80 versus the AX60. I kind of feel like it's a similar argument. But anyway, DCO bass. So this kind of sounds like a little bit like a Juno.
Okay.
This synth, if you remember.
Yeah.
But I felt like Akai put their flair to it with their digital interface on it.
The Akai is more aggressive, at least on the 80, I think. It's more aggressive than the Juno.
Yeah. How many oscillators has this got? 2, right? Or is it 1? I can't remember. I think it might just be 1.
I've only seen them a couple times. They often show up at modular meets. People like to interface them with their modular.
Noticing the MIDI side, so you know this is a newer synth than what the Jupiters were.
Post 1985 order is. Or is it 81? Can't remember.
Yeah. So this did have the left and right output, Andy.
Cool.
Yeah, the 80 doesn't. It's weird. But it's got that beautiful luminescent bar graph display, which is great.
Yeah. What do we need to do? We need to click on this button. That's it for Price Watch. What would you buy out of that collection of stuff?
As an investment, the Jupiter 8.
Jupiter 8.
Manny mentioned that
I'd probably fall in love with it.
AX60 was 1 oscillator and the AX80 is 2. And that might be why I automatically, brain just went blah, 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 and I said it sounds like a Juno because I remember it being 1 oscillator. There you go. So you reckon Jupiter 8, Chris? What do you reckon, Andy?
Jupiter 8 for me.
Well, if I didn't already have the boutique 101, which is very nice, actually, I'd like to get a proper 101 synth. Those are definitely nice.
I played my mate over has just went to of his studio on Thursday, and he's just bought the Behringer M1, isn't it? Which is it M1? Is that what they call the latest version of it? MS1.
The SH101. Yeah, MS1.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
You know, I mean, I've
No
got
problems with that.
the Roland S1, the little one, but which is, you know,
Yeah,
I had great fun messing around with that.
yeah, it's good.
You know,
I kind of feel like if you waited a little bit, I think the Behringer Jupiter synth is coming out because they brought the boutique thing out, the JT, whatever it was, JT Mini. So I feel like their
They're on the
poly
way, aren't
version
they?
will be out very soon. I don't know, by the way. I haven't got like some sort of special knowledge about this stuff. I don't, because they don't talk to me anymore. And it's not because of me or anything. They've stopped talking to YouTubers.
everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Unless you've got facial expressions that go.
once again, I honestly think if you're worried about, if you're an owner of a Jupiter 8 and you're worried about the price of your Jupiter 8 going down, I would not be, because I feel like it'll be the same thing that's happened to the SH101. People will know how to differentiate the two brands. Now, this is a question I want to ask to everybody, actually. While we're doing a Christmas show, have you guys noticed let's say you've bought something from Behringer and you've sold it secondhand? Have you guys noticed that the Behringer gear, generally speaking, synthesizers wise, I'm not talking about their old guitar pedals or, you know, I'm not talking about their old history. We're talking about more recently, right? Since the DeepMind came out, right? From there until today. Have you ever bought and sold something Behringer and noticed that they don't hold their value? So if you look at buying, let's say if you were to compare it to me buying or you buying a Roland piece of synthesizer in the same sort of time frame, like I've bought and sold Roland IRA products and they've held their value reasonably well.
I can confirm that.
So
The boutiques.
Even the Volcas hold their values. Different, you know, depending on which Volca you get. But
I didn't get much luck when I sold my Volcas, Andy. I literally, I lost probably 60% of their value when I sold them, because when I sold them, there always happened to be some sort of sale on that Korg were doing in some part of the world that Volcas were cheaper. And no matter what, because I bought all my Volcas when they first came out originally, and they were always extremely much higher in price. So like if you bought an RD8, like the Behringer RD8, which is the TR-808 drum machine, and then you thought, you know what, this is not as great as I thought it was, I'm going to sell it. How much did you lose? You know, how much did you buy it for and sell it for? I mean, these things are cheap at the start, right, coming in. So they're going to be, what are they losing? Are they losing 50% of their value, 25% of their value? What do you guys think?
Well, the only synth I bought from Behringer is a second-hand Model D, and I paid 120 quid for it. And you can pick one up new for 160 quid now. So the bottom's definitely fallen out of that market. Although somebody's trying to sell one on eBay for the price you can buy them for new. You know, so no, they're clearly not holding their price. You know.
Well, because Behringer stuff is already pretty cheap, and then as Kent will attest to, you open them up and they're pretty cheaply made inside, plastic shafts on pots and
the Model D's well built,
cheap components, right? So
Model D's built really well.
It's cheaper components.
DeepMind's built really
the
well.
Model D is, you know, because I had to open mine up and calibrate the bloody thing, properly. You know, but it's a metal chassis, and it's, you know,
not so much the Cobalt. I would say, Chris, the Cobalt's not built that well. It's a bit cheapy.
Really?
A bit plasticky. Yeah. I mean, it sounds amazing. The sound wise, blow my socks off. I can't believe how cool that sounds.
Yeah, the pots aren't particularly,
No.
tight. They're a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the Live and stuff is cheaply built as well. So it sounds
God,
cool,
yeah.
but it's also really cheaply built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Pro Hunt
classic,
was okay. I opened that.
Yeah.
Seems to be quite nice.
Yeah. The Neutron I thought was built pretty well.
Neutron's pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, so
Pedals
there is
are
a bit of
terrible.
knowledge behind this, right? So the Neutron was made in the UK, the Deep Mine was made in the UK, and I also believe the Model D was made in the UK.
Well, they're Midas, right? Is it Midas stuff?
I believe so.
Midas.
I
That's
could
right,
be
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
about the Model D, but I'm pretty sure it was. Now, if you compare that to some of the ones of the products that they've been shipping straight out of China, there may be a bit of a difference between the quality. Be interesting to see that next. What's the Neutron's replacement?
That's a
What was
question.
it
Is
called?
the Deep Mine
Proton?
still built
Proton.
then in the UK?
Is what? Sorry, Darren.
Is the Deep Mine still built in the UK? So is it still built as well as it was when it first came out?
Well, the thing is, Darren, it probably won't matter where it's built as long as they're maintaining the same tool and parts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as the quality
The
controls
the
there and-
manufacturing chain, if it's
Yeah.
still the same chain.
I like my Deep Mine, but I heard from people who gig it, actually take it out, it's kind of fragile, right? It's not as roadworthy as you think it's supposed to be.
Well, we're Goose saying they've never been built in the UK. We don't mean actually manufactured like in the UK. What we mean is that they were engineered.
Designed or
Engineered. Yeah, that's what we mean. Built.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the lack
Might have
of
been assembled.
penny pinching.
Like Apple does assembly in the US, but they build it everywhere else. So
Yeah, I find some of the products to obsess
There's
over.
somebody
the-
selling a Neutron on eBay for 180 quid second hand, and you can buy it new for 230, can't you? So that's
Yeah, that one
They're
does have a
dreaming.
good rep. They are probably.
Oh,
That's
tell him
a
he's
good
dreaming, right?
reputation.
Yeah,
There's the button.
it's the
There's your
button.
button. There's your button.
There it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
what's the name of that show, Ranzee? What is it?
The castle.
The Castle.
Yeah, it's getting on a bit now. That's like a long
yeah.
time ago. That is. All right. Eddie's joined us on Zoom, so I'm trying to get him in. By the way, so hopefully, hello. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I'm not going to turn on the camera because I'm not pleasant to see at the moment. And
How are you, Eddie?
You're
Happy
always
Christmas
lovely.
to you, mate.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah,
Christmas,
Merry
Eddie. You're always
And
lovely
that's-
to see.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, Ian. I love you too. I just came in because I wanted to wish you guys all a very Merry Christmas, the best Happy New Year possible, and the same for all the people in the chat. You know, I'm a lousy typer and I can barely read. So I just wanted to send you my best wishes to all you, and I wish for a 2025 where we can all share more and beautiful synthesizers.
Oh, that's lovely, mate. Thank
Cheers,
you very
mate.
much.
Beautiful
Kind
reverbs,
words.
Eddie.
Right back at you, buddy.
Well said, mate. Yeah. Feelings the
Thank
same.
you. And now I'll leave you to it.
Oh, are you coming and
Cheers,
going?
mate.
Okay, no worries, buds.
Okay?
Check it
Alrighty.
easy, buddy.
All my
Merry
love.
Christmas,
See you
Eddie.
soon.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry
Bye, bye.
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas,
See you
Eddie.
soon and take care.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for dropping in, as we say in Australia.
I need to turn this off. Let's try this. No, it's not working.
See, he wants you to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's all those
Okay, I'll take
beautiful
my
reverbs.
No image though.
I could put a
So,
placeholder
what is
image up
okay?
if you like.
Picture of a guitar.
Yeah, you do whatever. I'm on my phone, so I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Not that I usually know what the heck I'm doing. So please be my guest.
All right.
Do whatever you feel.
Okay. I got an idea. I don't know if you'll like it though.
Then don't.
Well, you might. Depends, right? It depends. Let's see if this will work.
There's only one way to find out.
There is. I've got to be quicker than what I'm being at the moment, though. All right, here we go. I'm going to crash the show by doing this, I bet you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now let's see if I can go into here. And then I can add...
Good.
There we go.
I love you.
So you're now a
Yeah,
Yamaha
man.
bass guitar.
Not bad.
Sure, mate.
I can't get it to
Don't get me
animate
wrong, I'm
though.
not whinging. I love it, and in fact, it's one that I'd love to be able to buy. It's similar to the ones I have. I have two Yamahas from the TRB section. I think
Yeah.
that's the RBX,
That's the 304.
model.
Yeah.
But the perfection for me is a 5-string.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yes,
just
you know
picked
the- you know
I
the
just picked a
rumble.
random one, by the way.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not whinging. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. I'm so thoughtful. Love it. Really, really love it.
Got to
But
know
yeah,
your,
you need
gotta
a
know
logo.
your
You
mates.
Yes. In fact, the ones I have, they're both silver. I love silver color in guitars. I don't know why.
I don't know what it was because I'm not really up on the bass guitar things, but I used to have a Yamaha bass guitar, and I actually don't know what happened to it. I think over the years, because I used to be in the military, I think with all the removals that I had, I reckon someone flogged it, and
Possibly.
and I
That's
just
why I
forgot
hate
about it.
Volvo.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Yamaha, thankfully, on bass, on guitars in general, my perception is that you get more than you pay for with Yamaha. Because although they're not, they have the top tier models, the $2,000 and beyond, which is like, I don't know, at the moment probably 3 or 5 of them. They're not the best ones in the market, but you get a ton of bang for the buck in guitar Yamaha instruments in general, even the synthesizers, I believe. Thing is, Yamaha can't sell any cheaper without compromising quality. That's why Yamaha products don't go for cheap prices on a general basis. Am I wrong?
I agree with that. I actually
Yeah.
agree, especially with guitars. I definitely think there's a cheapness
I
about
mean,
their price, but there's a quality
on
about
the-
their product.
On the entry level, anything from £200 all the way up to $1,000, you get more than you pay for in Yamaha. Doesn't matter what instrument it is, guitars, synth, keys, percussion, even drums. It's an instrument that will allow you to learn with it, to start with it, and it will grow with you up to a point. By the time you're outgrown your first Yamaha product, you're ready to go 2, 3, 5 grand into a serious, let's call it serious, probably American-made instrument.
Or like a Hondo Rickenbacker.
Exactly.
It's Paul.
I don't know many bass guitars, by the way, but I only just know that one because Peter Hook played it in Joy Division.
Ask away.
Yeah.
Ask away. I don't know them all, but I know a fair amount. I'm happy.
Hey,
happy
Eddie,
to talk about synthars.
Eddie, I have a quick update for you. Speaking of synthars, I'm still talking to that Syntax guy and trying to get him to come on the 6 Oscillator show. We'll see what happens. So,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Syntax is pretty cool. If you guys don't know Syntax, it's a really cool hybrid instrument. So
Yeah.
What did Sting play? He played a Yamaha,
Oh,
didn't he?
yeah. Was a fretless.
Now, first of all, Sting, bass-wise, he played everything under the sun.
Because
Everything.
I swear
played
I've seen him
Sonority
play
bass, too.
Yamahas.
Playing.
I know he played
He
fretless,
played
but
walls, he played areas, he played
Arias, yeah.
actives, he played Ibanez's, first generation Ibanez's, the neck throughs. He played everything under the sun. At once, a Spectre in the Synchronicity tour, he was playing Spectres.
Spectre, yeah.
Okay.
I've got an Ibanez short scale bass. It's great.
Short scales are crazy amazing because the tension difference is not that great, as in they're still fairly playable, as in you can do tons of techniques with them, and the sound, you could not tell the difference between a full scale and a short scale. I don't know what's the physics behind it.
No, I've always liked the short scale, but the only thing I didn't like about it was the strings because I changed it to flat wound strings rather than round wound.
Oh, I
So,
love flat wounds.
Yeah,
In fact, I love black nylons. Have you ever tried those?
You know
no,
what?
I've not tried them.
Eddie, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I might have thought the Spectre was a Yamaha.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Because they have a similarity. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the legend? I tell this story to everybody. You know the legend from Spectre, the black legend. There's a very dark story. Have you ever heard about Warwick basses?
Oh yes,
yeah,
I have heard this.
I played with a guy who played a Warwick bass. Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard the story. Yeah.
You
but
heard
tell
the story?
us, tell us though.
Basically, at one point on the tip of the way when a Spectre came to the market, was the time for loud bass, for bass doing taking a big predominant part on the bands. So active basses was the hype, and a Spectre is a very push forward, very clear, very how to call it, very powerful bass sound. So a lot of people, for instance, in Steen, to cut through fusion rock or even to hard rock and even metal, Spectre basses are what you want. So the brand at one point said, okay, we need to expand because we cannot satisfy the demand. And one of the markets we're letting down is the European market. But they decided not to move the factory or start exporting and paying export charges on every guitar. They said, okay, let's find a factory that kind of an OEM that could build Spectre basses for us in Europe. And they found one in Germany, Framus guitars. So they signed a contract with them to license them all the designs and all the body shapes and the design for the electronics and the hardware, because the Spectre basses came with a big chunk of new patents to the bass guitar, right? And new ways to do stuff. That's why they made them so wanted. But in the process of doing so, when Warwick started selling Spectre branded guitars, I don't remember why, a Spectre America brand folded. They had to file bankruptcy. But the problem is the contract they licensed to Warwick allowed them to keep using the blueprints, not the brand, but the blueprints and the designs and all the tooling for so many more years to come after the brand folded. So they found themselves having a guy building Spectre guitar basses in Europe under a different brand, Warwick.
Isn't it because Kramer bought them, wasn't it?
Who?
Kramer bought them.
Kramer.
So the guitar, yeah. In the 80s, they bought Spectre guitars, and then
Probably.
Kramer then started manufacturing in Korea, and that's when Kramer went downhill.
Kramer got bought by Gibson at the end. Guitar brands change hands on a daily basis.
Actually, they got bought by Korg.
At one point, probably, and let go again, and sell to Gibson, and Gibson didn't do much until 5 or 10 years ago, where they brought Kramer back, because the whole going back, the old nostalgia, 80s metal, hair metal, like Steel Panther. Is that the band, American band, Steel Panther?
Yeah.
The comedy
Steel
one?
Panther.
They basically,
sounds like a real
them
band.
and Stranger Things were two factors to bring back all the hair metal from the 80s. So all those guitars, plus Eddie Van Halen passing, a lot of factors brought the nostalgia back for those guitars. That's why Kramer by Gibson is now being released again. But as I said, guitar brands change hands on a daily basis. The only two remaining were the ones that were diversified in the first place, basically Gibson and Fender, the huge corporations. And they were managed as corporations very early on. Fender, everything after CBS, after 73 to 79 or 81, I believe, they were owned by CBS Records. And that's when they started behaving like a corporation. Gibson, a little bit earlier than that, and they never left being to the point that the last CEO of Gibson Guitars that I remember was a marketing guy who did the campaigns for Levis Strauss. Levi's Strauss.
So if you go back to the 80s when Spectre was bought by Kramer, because I actually I'm a Kramer guitar fan, and I actually had
awesome.
One of the great Kramer guitars that were made in the US just before they started making them in Korea.
Yeah, the cheap knockoffs. Yeah.
This is the thing that I absolutely can't stand about some corporate decisions that just really ruin something good. So they actually had Stuart and Alan from Spectre working at Kramer, right? Building guitars and basses in the US, right? They had people like Sting in the background, who were like one of the ambassadors of the brand, and they were selling like hotcakes. And then some idiot who got hungry with money thought, oh shit, you know what? We can make so much more profit. We can reduce our costs if we ship our manufacturing over to Korea. And then everyone stopped buying them.
Yeah, because they weren't that good.
And they went bankrupt.
They weren't that good.
In literally 5 years, they went from Kramer owning Spectre to going bankrupt because they started making them over in Korea. It just only took 5 years. 85 to 1990.
The way I put it is too much white powder running in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was corporate. It was purely a case of corporate greed. I believe that's if you remember.
Too many Wall Street sharks believing that music is convenience good and trying to market them as Coca-Cola. No, it has a second layer to it. It needs to be a little deeper than that, because you're talking with creative people, with people who think for themselves, not just sorry, this is coming across wrong. I don't mean that everybody else are sheep that follow the trends and buy whatever they put in front of them. But musicians either broke, so they count the pennies on a second basis, and second, they're very discerning what is good and what is bad. So mediocre doesn't cut it, and half-arsed doesn't cut it. So the minute you try to build cheaper, you compromise the final product.
So let's segue this, because I feel like that's a really good point. Let's segue it back to synths, because it is a synth show. Let's talk about the Moog Muse, right? And I don't know if you guys noticed, but during the week, Nick released a review of the Muse. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet or not. One of the comments he made in the video was about how the Muse is the first synth that's come out since the acquisition by InMusic, right? Which is Akai, or Akai if your name's Andy. And basically, one of the things he said, I actually wasn't sure if this was true or not, because I was under the impression that the Muse was completely designed and finished in its sense before the acquisition took place. But
surely.
But the comment he made was that Akai or InMusic have said, well, we're now in charge, and we want you guys to release a product that isn't as expensive as some of your previous polysynth products have been in the past. And they were obviously referring to the Moog 1 being really expensive compared to quite a lot of other synths that were on the market at the time.
Especially the 16-voice one.
So the Muse was kind of pitched more at the sequential sort of price range. If you look at, I think it's about 3,900 or something US, somewhere around there, right? But if you look at the price of it may be. I think it was 2,500 UK anyway. So
surely about around that. Yeah.
So in Australia, it's about 5,000 Australian, which is pretty cheap for an eight voice polysynth. I think it's really cheap, and in a sense, it's actually a 3 oscillator, even though it's kind of technically a 2 oscillator. But I mean, obviously, there's a few bells and whistles difference between what the Moog 1 had than the Muse, but I kind of feel like, is it really true? Is this really the first in music influenced Moog product that's out there, and are we starting to see a shift?
I have one thought about that. And the thought is, I'm pretty sure that Muse was on the table as an asset at the time that In Music was considering to buy the company. Because that's what corporations do. Who are you? What is your name? What is your tooling and machinery and personnel? But what projects do you have on the go ready to at what point? Because those are things that they will take no effort to me to market them. So that comes as a goodie, as a cherry on top of the acquisition, the absorption or whatever you call it. So I'm pretty sure those blueprints were on the table.
Which is my understanding as well.
That's
my understanding as well. It was well and truly finished, the design and everything.
But what I imagine is what In Music would have said is, okay, we buy the company with Muse on the works, and the minute that is ours, we take all the blueprints, all the component quality, but we swap the manufacturing to the factories in the East.
See, I don't think that happened, that part of it.
Okay.
I think it was still manufactured in Asheville.
Assembled in America.
People should always remember that it actually takes a lot of time and effort to do things cheaply. You have to. It's a lot of setting up and designing. It's like the sort of the default sort of thought these days is, it'll come out cheaply and quickly. Well, actually, it doesn't work that way. To come out cheaply, they actually need to spend a lot of time planning it. Yeah. That's how stuff gets cheap. It's not just send it.
You need to work out the math.
It's that quality triangle, right? Fast, cheap, and good.
Yeah.
So
you can have two of them.
Triangle.
We can talk about manufacturing in a sec, but
let's
just put this to bed. So getting back to Nick's point, what I think he was saying, I don't think he was saying about anything about how they've sent them off to a different factory in China or they're getting made cheap or anything like that. I think purely what In Music was saying was that we're going to release the Muse, but we're not going to release it. Maybe it was going to be released at a higher price that Moog probably were pitching at. But In Music have said, no, let's be competitive with this and let's see how she sells. Because if you think about it from a corporate point of view, right, one of the things that In Music will want to do is they'll want to make Moog profitable again, because that's an investment.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they can do is they've already got a design, they've already got stuff tooled and in production, is if they can cover their manufacturing costs somehow and still turn a profit, but at the same time make that product competitive in the industry. And like I said before, it's kind of priced around the sequential polysynth prices, if you look, which I think was definitely a strategy from In Music, not from Moog as such. The only question I've got for you guys, talk about manufacturing in this as well if you want, is do you feel that Moog, like in a kind of similar way to Teenage Engineering, do you feel like Moog were always a little bit overpriced, or do you feel
Very
like
much so.
They deserved to charge what they charge and there was a quality behind their product?
I don't think.
I mean, I've only ever owned. I've only owned one Moog synth, which was a Prodigy, which was a pile of crap, and Kent knows about this. I always thought they were overpriced. I always wanted a proper Model D back in the day, and I'll stick with the Behringer because I'm never going to be able to afford one now. But I always felt they were overpriced. I remember the Poly. What was the first Poly they put out back in the 80s? It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Back to the manufacturing thing. Hasn't the Muse had issues with its vinyl peeling away?
The sticker.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry if you're paying $2 or $3 for a synth, that should not be happening.
But that's an easy thing.
And clearly there are issues with software about the load up times.
Yeah, that's. I reckon the software issues are a bigger deal than the vinyl.
I think was it Robert was saying on PSN that that's, or maybe Kent, that's about underdeveloped code. Code's not built properly. So I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. And I completely agree with that.
Never been there strong.
Yeah, Wagyu says he's got zero issues with mine. That's cool, Wagyu. But I mean, obviously, other people have said that they've had issues. I think Didn't Keith say
I'm with-
that he'd had some bubble?
I'm with Ian for one single factor. It destroys your Moog experience. You buy a synthesizer for a lot of chunk of money because it's still $2,000 or $3,000, $3,000. I think on everybody's economy, it's a ton of money to put on something that you don't need at all and only does one job, kind of. Because we're not even talking a workstation, it's just a synthesizer. Polyphonic, yeah, but a synthesizer.
I mean,
then
Moog
you
is a
get this
brand.
device.
It is 2-part multi-timbral though.
Yeah.
So but yeah, keep going.
Good.
Keep going.
Yeah, I
And
was
you
just
get
gonna say,
this product with all your hard-earned money, and the first experience you have is that the finishing doesn't even last a month.
yeah.
It's like,
That's
is this a
completely
lemon?
unacceptable.
It
I mean,
destroys your
perhaps-
experience.
So that
I
could
think-
be Ian. That could be why people are sort of questioning: was it made in the US?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I think let's face it, Bob Moog, genius, genius designer,
Yes.
really.
Yep.
You know, and as a brand, Moog is it's one of the desirable brands out there.
Yes.
But clearly, over the years, I won't say all of their products, but a good percentage of their products have been overpriced and undervalued, really. You know,
Well, Moog is like cachet, right? It's like Sony. You used to pay a lot more for
so many
Sony than you
people
do for
want
some
the
other
logo.
brands.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've had a lot of Moog stuff. I still have a lot of Moog stuff, and even like the little subharmonicon and DFM, they're very well built. It's not crap.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're getting
But
some
are they
quality out of that.
$6,000
It's
well
not just
built?
cachet. And they sound good too.
Yeah.
All right.
Andy, but are they $6,000 or $5,000 well built? That's the point with
very
making.
hard
No,
thing to
but I'm not in
quantify,
that.
isn't it?
Well, I've already,
exactly.
I was
I've already
never in
told
that
you
kind of
guys.
market anyway, so.
I've already told you guys that there's an element of manufacturing that Moog have done in China, and I've got proof, like the Slim Fatties example, where part of it is manufactured elsewhere, and then they're assembled, and maybe some of it is manufactured in the US, but it's definitely assembled in the US so that they can say it's made in the US. But I've got circuit boards which I can tell you definitely not made in the US.
Can I just make a little point in that conversation? I heard something that was interesting. Talking about their pricing, I've always sort of thought, kind of like, this is their price. This is the competitor's price. I think it's really worth that, but they will always charge this.
Yeah,
but it did make me. But you're talking about quality and experience. I had the thought of how much money do you actually spend over specifying, over engineering, over checking, over testing, in order to protect that quality impression of the product.
What do you mean?
I mean, how much extra money do you spend? Like, I mean, say, for example, Behringer are not going to spend a heap of money above and beyond doing a simple test of the module on a test on their testing harness, which they do electronically. But it goes out, and they don't test it again when it arrives in the destination
Like
country.
the Model T's going out untuned, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if it's it has a problem, okay, we'll send it back. And replace it with a new
Case in point.
Moog aren't going to do that.
About Behringer.
Or they're going to avoid it.
Well, you know what Behringer do? They send out their after the prototype stage, and they go to the tooling and manufacturing stage. They send their beta models out to people to test, and usually they send it out to people that have got if it's a clone of something, got the original. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And all of those people get the synth for free, but they don't get paid to beta test. But there is a stringent level of testing that they have to do and respond back.
Ooh,
It's similar. I don't know if you've ever beta tested for anything. Like I've beta tested for Ableton, and it's can be quite stringent what they want you to do for free.
Exactly.
You don't get paid. So it's basically free labor. It's a pretty clever thing if you're a business to get your products tested out there in the community without having to pay anyone.
Microsoft does it to the whole world. So
exactly.
It's true. It's the software model, isn't it? But I just meant in terms of that whole thing of protecting your sort of
brand.
reputation, or protecting the Moog experience. One of the ways to, I mean, the layperson would think, the way they protect the Moog name is by making sure all the quality of the products, at manufacturing is to a particular specification. Tick. No, some of it must be that whole sort of double checking, extra people in the production line checking things weeks down the track after the power supply has been running for a week. That level of extra testing is what I wonder is costly and has been included in Moog's price to this date.
Just one thing.
I don't think it has, though, because if that was the case, then the things with the software, the issue with the software loading times would have been spotted.
Or not.
I think that's rushed.
But there's a blind spot in every production team when it comes to software. I find anyone who produces anything involving hardware and software, there's that whole sort of, the rules don't quite apply to the software because it's a software thing. It's like, but we can fix that in software. Yeah, but if we don't allocate any time to do it in software. No, we've got to do the tooling. We've got to get the pots right, and there's a blindness. It's in my experience.
Can I bring
there's a blindness
please?
to the quality of software. It's undervalued.
If I'd have paid that sort of money, and and I'm sure there are other issues, I would be so disappointed. I mean, it's highly unlikely that I would buy a Muse anyway. But so they're not.
Can I make a point here, please?
What about when the guys when they bought the sequential, what was it called again? The 8-voice. What was it called? It was a Prophet. It was Prophet 8, wasn't it?
Prophet 08.
No.
Prophet 08. Yeah. When the first ones came out, they had to reissue the pots on it. There was a pot.
I had it on the Poly-Evolver. They had to replace the encoders with pots.
Yeah. Because their encoders, whatever, they were just completely unreliable.
Jittery. Completely jittery.
Which can be fixed with.
Can I make a point, please?
Capacitor sort of hack, by the way.
Possibly.
Can I, please?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yep, go.
Can I remind you this my own personal story about Behringer and the PP1? Do you guys remember all that?
Well, I don't remember what you're talking about. I know you got a PP1. That's as far as.
No, I don't. That's the story. Basically, I bought it, brand new, pre-order, wait for it, pay full price. It came, the other one. It came to me. I started documenting on my channel my whole experience with it. Oh, very nice knobs. The whole experience. And mine came absolutely, totally useless, not even calibrated, to the point that the volt per octave wouldn't move in half steps, but in cents. So each new node would trigger only 1 cent higher. Because it was on guarantee and because I wanted to document the whole experience, I sent it back through the channel, through the power distributor, which in UK is Undertones, to have it fixed, to have it calibrated. Although I kind of worded as it, could you just send me the calibration procedure so I can apply it? So no, we cannot do that. You have to send it back in guarantee. Sure, no problem. Send it back. They pay for all the stuff. They made me wait for around 3 months just to, when I had a little too much, say, okay, what's going to be with this one? When is it going to be fixed? And the turnaround is, we don't know if we can even fix it, to the point that we rather you have a refund. And I went like, okay.
That's bullshit, man. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I know. No. You got me on a very bad time of my life, so I need the cash. Okay, refund me, and then later on, I'll buy it again when it's fixed.
You should have told me, man. Seriously, you should have told me. I got Yuli's direct email address. I would have just emailed him.
But cool. We still can do it. I mean, that series in my channel is still open. It hasn't finished. It's just a whole year later, and I still don't have my work in PP1. So, talking about quality checkups, this is Behringer.
But is that Andertons or is that Behringer?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I think it's both. Behringer didn't calibrate the unit in the factory.
Oh, that's definitely Behringer. Didn't
allow users to have the calibration procedures, which is I bet you, I even asked Ken Spong, it's just a fucking screwdriver and a multimeter.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Easy peasy.
And I could even see the trimmer ports inside the motherboard.
Exactly.
I just played dumb. It's like, okay, I'm a user. I have no freaking idea of DIY Eurorack. I want you, the manufacturer, to give me a working price for my brand new full price product.
They should have given you a replacement that's like from the get-go. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. So that to me is
because it was the beginning. Their stock was already broken, or this is just a speculation on my side. Behringer makes it so hard to get replacement units that they said we're not gonna pay from our pocket because the margin is so small. It's not worth it. We'd rather give you back the money and then sell the same product again with the same margin later on, instead of having to chase a piece of hardware.
I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, I mean, my experience with Behringer, I've had various things go wrong with Behringer, and they will, in most cases, they will actually just replace. So if it's faulty, like yours was,
got stock.
They should. Well, yeah, stock is the other. Well, that's a different discussion.
Yeah,
but
over here it's an issue.
Exactly.
If you're dealing with a retail store, which is one of the benefits of dealing with brick and mortar retail store, this should usually be a good news story, not a bad news story. But,
exactly.
Look, let's not bag Andertons out. You never know. It could have been just a clerical error. Could have been all on Behringer's side. Who knows what it was, right? But generally speaking, if you've got a faulty product, it should be replaced. Because these things, they can be repaired, but the cost to repair is so exceeds the value of the product itself. That's how they've been built, to a tool spec that basically chuck it in the bin, we'll replace it. And Behringer should be with I don't really know if I can say this, but if you look at other types of industries that sell products, like for example, I can talk about Seagate hard drives, right? Seagate, the company, when they make a hard drive, they make two of them. So the pricing is based on how much it is to make two, and then one sits in a warehouse and the other one gets distributed for sale. So they know that it's got some sort of serial number matching on it. So they know that there's a certain failure rate of their product. And if they make two of them, they've worked out that's a risk venture that they've taken out, right? So if they make two of them and you put a return request in for it to be replaced, they'll literally pick the other one in the warehouse and send that back to you. And it hasn't cost them anything to do that other than a bit of postage because they've already made it.
And it should be the rule of the 4-to-1. The markup price is whatever cost me to build one, plus the cost of building the second, plus the transport for both, plus my margin, 4-to-1.
Yeah.
That should be the final price.
See, the thing here is, I kind of feel like the thing here is there's two things going on. Number one is it wasn't handled very well, and therefore someone at Anderton needs to put their hand up and go, you know what, guys, if we want to sell these products, we have to support the customer. That's one of the things. Like Ian used to have a shop front. Like, he knows what I'm talking about. You've got to support your customer. And if you stuff the customer around, it's going to come back badly on you. So Anderton do need to own that, regardless of
how pressure they can put on the
usually
what do right.
Yeah, usually what happens with a faulty product, right? First thing that happens is it comes back to the dealer. Dealer checks that the fault is as the customer says, and then it's a conversation with the distributor or manufacturer. And based on what the distributor or manufacturer want to do, then, you know, I mean, and usually, occasionally, as a dealer, we'd have to fight for the customer, because we're agreeing with the customer that there's an issue with this, and we want to know what the actual manufacturer are going to do with it. Yes, the liability is with your dealer, but it's also with the manufacturer. You know. Now, you know, I've never had any dealings with Andertons, although I've met Lee Anderton a couple of times. Seems like a nice bloke. He's well in with, you know, the musicians distribution organisation, whatever they're called.
And he's got to deal with Behringer too. He's got a direct shipping deal with Behringer.
I think his bigger problem is dealing with Behringer. Now, we were a Behringer dealer, and we stopped dealing with Behringer because their service a few years ago now, but was so poor that pretty much we as a retailer, we were mainly just doing guitar pedals. We were left high and dry. We weren't doing synths, we were just doing guitar pedals. So, the people that I know who have used Andertons have had nothing but good words to say about them. It could be a blip with them, but
no, it's the same for me. I have no complaints whatsoever about Andertons. They did everything, at least judging by what they stole me on writing. They did everything on the power to try to fix it. Obviously, there's all the factors coming on the background, because in my brain is, why are you trying to fix it for 3 months? You try for an evening, and if it's unfixable, you just replace it with a new item.
Eddie, it doesn't work like that. I mean, in a different life, I had a hi-fi repair business, and I employed an engineer, and you could quite easily, this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, you could quite easily be waiting for parts for 3 months. Ken has this issue on a daily basis, so it might not be. Granted, the retailer should be telling you that we need a part
communication,
for it, but,
poor communication.
So, I mean, we would have always done that. We would have said to somebody, "Look, I'm really sorry, but we've diagnosed what the fault is. We need these components. We've asked for them from the manufacturer. They're going to take 6 weeks, whatever, And that used to happen. I mean, the amount of time it would take to get chips and things back in the late 80s, it never got any better, really. We would be waiting weeks and months for stuff.
Yeah. And I don't think it's any much better coming from a retailer with all the conditionings that Behringer has. So, the only thing I'm going to right now hang on Andertons is opacity on the communication. Because if they would have said, we're still waiting for parts, I would have said, okay, fine, no problem. Keep waiting.
Because you need to be informed,
Yes, but all they were giving me back is, we cannot fix it.
Right,
we cannot fix it.
There's one in stock in my local city.
There is an issue with if the retailer isn't getting much help from the distributor or the manufacturer. Their profit that they made on that, which isn't necessarily great anyway, has already disappeared by the fact it's come back and they've been trying to fix it. So it's maybe in their best interest to actually make the problem go away by giving you a refund.
All right, guys. What do you reckon we should do? Should we send Eddie one of these? You don't have one, right, Eddie?
Tell me.
I can get one shipped to you. There's literally one in my local city.
Really?
Yeah.
$139 Australian. $139 Australian, which is literally 70 quid.
70?
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's half I paid.
It's on sale. It's on sale though.
Yeah.
Is that Andertons?
No. This is my local
Australia.
My local place in Australia.
Oh, okay.
So we have to.
How much is the shipping? Just the box is small. It's stupidly small.
Yeah, it's still going to cost.
Shipping?
It's still going to cost
another
shipping.
100?
Probably 25, I reckon, to send it to the UK from here.
Yeah.
20. That's not pounds.
Australian.
Not pounds. That's
Aussie
Australian.
dollars.
So 12. It'd be
Aussie
about
dollars,
£13 to ship.
Yeah, 160 quid here.
You had me on Facebook. Send me your bank account. I'll send you the money.
All right.
If you can get that PP1 to my door for £90, I'll send you the money.
Yeah,
should be able to. Good. Yeah. 180. Yeah, should be able to.
Problem is, if that one is also broken, what the fuck do I do? I'm not gonna send
you can
it back
test
to
it
you.
before.
Well, I bought mine from the same
then
place.
You've got a problem,
Eddie, and mine works. So you'd expect
a UK dealer will not repair that under guarantee because it's come from
exactly
a different country.
That is the only reason why not to do it, because money is better, it's cheaper.
Oh mate, chuck it in the bin if it doesn't work. Seriously.
But 69.
Again, you have the right to repair. You can just fix it yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right
mean,
to
the
repair.
second time, if it happens a second time, and that's the other point. When I was doing the videos for the PP1, I was also checking kind of what was the word around it. Apparently, mine was probably the only one in UK that went faulty, because nobody else came with the same complaint.
Well, mine works.
So
I know.
You guys
much-
saw me working
Rant,
it, even though I was plugging it in the
Rant,
wrong
how
part.
much was it? How much was it?
I paid
139
$99 for
Aussie,
it.
which is £70.
So- Yeah, well, actually, you can buy from Gear for Music. It's a module, isn't it? PP1. We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah.
67 quid.
There you go.
Free
Okay,
shipping.
I know what
is
I'm
it?
getting for Christmas.
There you go.
It
Get
might
it from
not be
Gear.
free shipping.
Get it from
Gear for Music.
Get it from Ian's
That's the
mate.
cheapest.
Gear for Music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let your fingers do the walking.
Ian's
Click,
best buddy.
click, click.
He's on. No, actually, I've met him as well.
Bye.
He's all right.
We had.
I know the
He's
guy
We
too.
went for a beer one night. He's a decent bloke. He's Andrew.
He sent me a message once because I was buying a shitload of stuff from him. Because there was a point in time where the Australian dollar was remarkably high against the British pound,
Ooh.
and the shipping was extreme. This is before Brexit, and the shipping was extremely cheap, and I was able to get stuff from.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to pay, as long as it was under $1,000 Australian. I didn't have to pay goods and services tax, so there was 10% that I
Lucky.
saved, and then
So
the shipping
lucky.
was cheap. And they had stock before Australia would get it. So I would get stuff. Like I bought my VC340 from Gear for Music. And it's quite a big, heavy synth, that thing. So you can imagine how much
I
it would have
remember you
been.
doing that.
That cost me stuff all. DHL, I got it within about 3 days of ordering it.
I mean,
What?
I mean, if Eddie, if you ordered it today, you'd have it tomorrow. But yeah, I think you pay for that because I ordered. Well, I tell you what I bought from.
Oh, if you get
Yeah,
the
it's
free
an extra-
shipping in through
I think it's an
Gear,
extra $5
Yeah.
for next day.
it's not the fast one. It's the other one.
No,
it's the
I bought
Royal
that.
Mail.
Yeah, I bought that from them. Next day delivery. I think
Oh, you got the
next day
L8
delivery
from
was
them, did you?
nine.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it was £9 for the.
We still can't
next
get
day
them in
shipping.
Australia yet, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, Tanner.
That is great. I've
It's
sold my
great,
other
isn't
one.
it? It's such a good
It's
product.
absolutely brilliant. I've already used it live. You know, you can
And the
put little
clipping
samples
thing.
into.
Ian, the clipping
Yeah.
feature on that is insane, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's absolutely
Got one?
brilliant.
It's
Darren,
got
what's up?
it's got a for those who don't know.
I'm sorry, I was just waving to the other half. Sorry.
It's
The-
got
the
a
other half
head
watching us now from somewhere else, so I was just waving.
It's got the Steinberg. What do they call it? It's
Oh, just say, I tell you what,
polymorphic clipping or something.
everybody just say, hiya, Sarah.
It has. I mean,
Hi, Sarah.
I'm not sure what it's called. Bye, Sarah.
Happy
See you,
Christmas,
Sarah.
Yeah.
Happy
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah,
No,
so there
it's
you go.
absolutely brilliant.
What's the business with
Yeah.
Zoom? Because
Plastic
is
box
higher
with well
quality,
built.
is better price, is better bang for the buck, but it's
Yeah.
proportionally the same pricing as Behringer. How can they do better for the same money?
Oh, Zoom have always been kind of. You got to be careful with Zoom. Like you can get some stuff from Zoom that's a bit dodge. There's a few
Oh,
examples
okay.
out
We-
The
there.
little drum machines are decent,
Yeah,
but they're
I
not
mean-
awesome.
Yeah.
So.
They do.
Okay.
They'll. I mean, the reason I bought it from Gear for Music, apparently there's a connection there. Andrew is friends with the guys from Zoom, the original guys.
From the Japanese guys.
When we were, no, I think it's the UK distributor. When we were retailing, we were a Zoom dealer, and we couldn't. Our trade price was more than the price that Gear for Music were pumping it out. So they were selling it less than trade.
Yeah.
Now they clearly had done a deal. We were up in arms about it because obviously it made us really uncompetitive. So and Zoom were not prepared to do anything about it. They weren't prepared to offer us the same deal because that's what it would have been. You know, the deal might have been you've got to take 40 units, which, you know, if you'd offered me the same deal, then I can't afford it and I won't do it. But at least you offered me the same deal. There was some sort of connection there. But yeah, I mean, that's
hear you.
absolutely brilliant.
Still
And
can't
I
get it in
bought
Australia. So I just double checked, right, and I can get that. Literally, what's today's date? I can get that within, I don't know,
It's the 21st.
3 days, 4 days. I mean, I guess Christmas will probably get in the way with this, so this is not going to be as immediate as some. £237.50. If I was to do, that's 477 Aussie, Chris.
Dollars, yeah.
Plus postage.
Yeah, but what's in it for that price?
Oh, it's insane.
Sorry? It's brilliant.
Chris, $30 Australian to post it too. That's cheap.
That's 15 quid.
That's DHL Air Express. DHL Air Express is overnight. I'll get that. If I ordered that now, I reckon I'll get that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I ordered
or Monday.
PCBs only took 3 days to come here. Yeah.
I probably told you, but my Black Friday buy was the Zoom 4HE.
3 days.
The little handheld.
$510, Chris.
No.
Sorry, what was that?
$510 Aussie, including postage for the L6.
Yeah, but what's in the box?
That's good.
As in, what can that thing do?
Oh, well, it's a 10-channel mixer recorder. 10 channel.
You're kidding.
I could do it. Get DHL that quick.
I mean, it's got. You can put a little SD card in it. It's got battery powered,
rechargeable battery.
Comes with a main supply.
Recording quality?
Absolutely fantastic. It's 32-bit flow. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Recording quality, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's
96. That's how they do the anti-clipping. Is the 32 floating thing.
It's got a built-in compression unit, which sounds great when I use it live. I don't normally would use.
How many channels compression?
Just it's on everything. You can't adjust it.
Master
it's just
compression.
one button.
The
little sound
my
pad
leg,
things,
mate.
No. There's 4 little sound pad things here. I loaded some samples in it, and
a sampler player.
Created some loops.
Oh, it's 48K is the digital sampling rate. 48K, which is the same as vinyl, so it's good. It's good
it couldn't go up to.
Can we just stop and process that? For $400 Australian, you get 30% of the major DAWs in your pocket.
Yeah.
How crazy is that shit?
It's insane.
I bought it because it's small. I bought it because I don't need more than 10 channels.
Fits a need.
And I multi-track record my EMOMs and stuff like that. It's absolutely fantastic. I've only, like I say, I took it to York. I've used it once.
Hold up one of your Roland Rolkers next to it. Have you got a Rolker?
Rolker.
It's probably at 10% bigger than a Rolker. That's what it looks like to me.
It's slightly bigger than a Rolker, but this is the thing that we will catch on about this thing. So you got a couple of Rolkers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
it's like 10%, 10-15% bigger.
But it's the same.
Not even that.
It's the same height. Look at that. It's the same. It's pretty much the same height, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and also the same depth.
Yeah, that could be air. The depth difference could be air. It's not about PCBs.
That is amazing. I mean, it's 2 different companies.
1/4-inch jacks though.
Love
a fair bit of space.
That is so cool.
Combi jacks.
Yeah,
exactly.
A fair bit of.
And
if I had to spend $500,
fit them in.
1/4-inch. Oh, come on, really? You got a mixer, you got a DAW, you got a sampler player, you got a battery. Yeah. How long is the battery? Have you ever run out of battery?
No, I don't. I haven't used it on batteries.
It tells you on the website how long it goes for.
It's not.
I never believe those.
I was under the impression it was about 3 to 5 hours. We did when we did the review on the show.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
3 to 5 hours.
They make good recorders. I have the H8 with the octopus looking thing or spider with all the stuff. And it's really good quality. Even the little H1, that's like $100.
Well,
you can take anywhere to record samples. It's good. It's
But that's what I mean. So, what's the business with them? Why can they and nobody else can?
Because that's the market they want to be in. But don't forget, they when you're comparing that it's quite a sort of niche market that Zoom do. So they're not. It's not like they're making synths and
Plus, they're not reinventing the wheel. They have circuits that have been around a long time. The R&D is already paid for, so they can afford to charge less.
They tweak a little bit here, tweak a little bit there. There's a new product, bang. and it's probably a buggeroo in terms of R&D.
It's a form of sort of mining technology. You're mining your own company's technology to make other products.
Exactly.
And when those
like Roland likes to do.
Two
Apple
stars
do it.
align, then you get something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the iterations of the
everyone
iPhone, how much different, really, other than the processor and the camera
Okay,
and a little bit of software,
don't go that one.
how much different is
That
an
one is
iPhone?
meme worthy.
So
That is meme worthy.
That was £140 Black Friday deal. With obviously you put two mics in it.
Crap.
These
Stereo microphones, yeah.
It's great. I've only used it once so far, but the record quality is really good, and it was meant to replace this. If I can get into it, which I've literally I've had this forever. So
and still goes.
That's
the original one, yeah.
Perfectly well. Yeah,
Is that the H2?
It's the H2, isn't it?
Oh,
H2,
I got a black version of the H2. So you got the original one.
Yeah, and I put a plastic case over it, and I'm actually going to keep it because it's got I can record both mics at the same time.
Yeah, and it just takes two AA batteries at the back, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Is it a double capsule condenser look like?
I mean, it has its limitations. Like you can't adjust the record level.
Oh, you know what's really good with that?
Medium, high.
The H2s, right? You can chuck in one corner of a room, like a pretty decent sized room, let's say 3 meters by 3 meters, decent sized room, and it will pick up every single sound in the room. It's incredible.
Because it looks like a double capsule condenser.
Recorded. York Minster had a festival years ago, and I recorded this choir walking through the streets of York, and then put the album out for free. And the quality of it was really, really good.
Amazing.
I spoke to the composer, and he says, "Oh yeah, just put it out." I think it's still on.
To agree with the point you were making about Zoom rehashing the same tech over and over. Remember, I mean, the first contact with Zoom I had was in the early '90s when they released the Pocket Multi-Effects, the 9000 and the 9002. And they already had DSP of a very decent, almost professional level quality sounding back then. So they've just been working on the same source code for calling on a wrong name ever since. How many years is that? They've been on the same case. Because the minute you develop a DSP digital delay, you're halfway to a sampler. Aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
So the minute you do delay, you can do sampling to a short.
By the way, a lot of DSPs. By the way, if you were to go to say Element 14, Mauser, and you get yourself say a DSP chip, right? You get yourself a DSP package. They a lot of them will have in their dev area. They have already ready to rock and roll sample code that you can just chuck on it, and it will literally. Yep. All you need is just to add a couple of circuitry to it to pull the audio in, and away you go. You don't even really need to even develop the code because the code's already been out there for ages. It's not so much with the DSP program. It's not so much about the getting the samples in. It's more about manipulating of the samples.
Yeah,
so that's where the algorithms sort of go better. Like for example, if you were looking at what Ableton does with Warp, right, with their samples. So in Ableton, you can put a sample in, and then you want to time stretch it to a lower or a higher pitch, and it will keep the sort of the beat of that sample in the same, right? It won't speed it up or slow it down. And those DSP algorithms have been out for years and years and years and years, right? They've been out since probably the late 80s, right?
Intelligent time stretching.
But the better code is the ones that make it sound more realistic. So that what it does is it uses there's more technology out now with DSP programming where it gets a sound and goes, right, I'm going to stretch that sound. So now I've got a gap because I've stretched it to make it sort of fit over a larger period of time. Then what it does is it uses a guessing sort of algorithm where it goes, well, I think that sound will be that. So I'm going to insert based on best principle guesses. And so you don't get those kind of sort of, sounds when you're doing the cheaper algorithms.
Remain realistic for a longer stretch of key range. Yeah, that's it's the same thing that Cubase does. I think you can have the same functionality in Pro Tools if you buy the plugin. I think not GarageBand, Logic comes with it as well. All the DAWs at one point or another came with some type of audio stretching, audio re-pitching. Pitching? Sorry, Spanish here. But it's exactly because of the reason. It's because these users, humans, we learn about the new things that the devices do on chunks with sometimes years in between. We believe, they started developing this months ago and they just launched it. No, they've been added, tweaking, perfecting, and selling variations of the same tech for the past, 40 years, 50 years?
Even in some cases,
they never stop.
Eddie, in some cases, they're not just doing that. What they're doing is they're working with the confines of what a particular chip can handle, right? So it's like when you work in IT and you go, right, I'm a programmer from the 1980s. I've got a Commodore 64. This is my processor, the motor, whatever, right? And you're there. You know the confines of what this can do.
Yeah.
Then out comes the next, the next computer. The Amiga came out next, right? So the Amiga's got a better processor. It's faster. It's the same thing happens with DSP. DSP chips, they get faster. They get more powerful. So that gives them, okay, cool. Now I've got some more flops that I can access now with the processor. So therefore now I can throw a bit more stuff at it, and it's not going to detriment the sample in real time because I've got more lanes of access to processing power. And
it's like
so
the
really
old Roland Varios. It became the V-Synth, and the Varios is very primitive, but the V-Synth is much nicer. So,
well, the point we're trying to make is that it's not necessarily that they have got a whole bunch of code that they just sit on and then one day they launch a new thing.
No.
It's more that it's more the technology as it gets more and more and more powerful.
The hardware becomes lower price. I mean, we all know the evolution of the RAM memory on all the synths and samplers. The minute the RAM dropped in price, samplers became mega powerful. Right? Wasn't the case there?
I wouldn't say so much. Well, yeah, it would be to a degree. I'd say more to do with the processor. So
both at the same time.
Sampling is always going to be heavy on the processor, and the RAM is more so about the size of the sample as opposed to the processing of the sample. Yeah, the quality, I guess. Yeah, the bigger. For example, you might have 11K sample or a 48K sample. So generally speaking, it's just maths, right? It's just maths. All you need to do is go, okay, well, I can fit more time with an 11K sample because the math works out that way, right?
Yeah.
So it's
my point is we went
not
from
so much the memory.
We went from Synclavia. You need to sell your car to buy the RAM expansion. To you can buy a sampler almost on the size of your pocket.
This is a great sampler right here. Great sampler right in your hand. So
exactly.
I remember the Synclavia thing. That
processors, RAM, all the chips dropping in price. Yeah.
That gave them the ability to do stereo, and there was but the RAM gave them that, right? So that means that the processor was able to store, because RAM is basically different to your file storage, right? So the RAM is so that your CPU is got something where it can temporarily put something while it works on something else. It's like a little holding bay, but it can get to it really, really fast. And then the faster your RAM is, the faster it can get to it, right? So over the years, RAM became important in that sense because it could access temporary storage fast. So it does help you. I'm not saying it doesn't. It does help your samplers in that sense.
You still need the microprocessor to run that RAM. Let's say, okay, what example? What can we put? The RAM is the petrol, but you still need the cylinders and the sparks. You need a microprocessor to be able to explode the faster RAM. So I'm with you. They went hand in hand, but they went very quickly because of mass manufacturing and because, I don't know what was the market pushing the computer evolution, as in selling that many units.
You had this thing called Moore's Law, right? So you heard about Moore's Law, haven't you?
Yeah,
Moore's Law.
Remind me, please.
Yeah, but
so Moore's Law is
stopped a while ago.
Moore's Law, it's no longer the case now because of the nanometers the issue now, right? But we won't go into that. Yeah. Moore's Law was this thing for probably 30 years. It was around where every time they brought a processor out, everything got like twice as fast. Basically, everything got faster, right? Every time. Bang, faster. For about 30 years, it was one of those things, and everyone just assumed that processors, every time they bring them out. If you look at Intel right now, and you probably look at anything from about the 14th, 13th, maybe 12th generation until their latest. In fact, don't talk to me about the 14th generation Intels because they had a complete shocker with those. But if you think about it, there's not a massive, huge... Moore's Law sort of factor going on there, right? What you're seeing with these processors is only very subtle frequency improvements, very subtle. They're not massive, and you're seeing
a lot of overclocking.
So you're seeing more cores, right? And you're seeing more cache, so the L2 cache and things like that, right? So the caching is actually the big part that they're kind of, and the reason why they do it's kind of almost like Intel are having problems at the moment anyway, but won't go into that. But it's almost like they're in a holding pattern because their big issue that they've got is the nanometer issue, right? The nanometer issue is they can't get the silicon to be any closer together because it causes because of the tooling and the factories and all that.
That's why they do brute force engineering.
Yeah. And then on top of that, they've got thermal issues, right? So they've got voltage and thermal issues. So that's why Moore's Law's out the window now. But you and I, as young adults from children to all the way up to probably 10 years ago, we've experienced Moore's Law through our computers, our phones, our samplers and music. We've enjoyed it, but it's what I think is frustrating though for us now is that we know, like Andy just popped his phone up and said, "There's the best sampler you can get right now," right? Yep. The thing is that some of these products that we buy don't have the power that the phone has, or the PC, or the laptop, or the tablet. And when you think about it, these products have had that power now for at least 15 years, at least, I reckon. Safely, you can say that, wouldn't you, Andy? You could safely say 15 years we've had pretty powerful phones and tablets.
Well, 2000, I was using Pocket PC as a sampler with synthesizers on it. So that the software and the apps have been there forever.
I remember Pocket PCs.
So when
that was great.
If I've been raving about how cool this thing's been, right? But if I was to really be picky about this, I could say, well, Roland, why is there not a Snapdragon processor in here?
Because it's too expensive.
Well, of course, right? Of course. But let's not talk about cost, but let's talk about what this thing can do for them. They can go, right, if I put a Snapdragon in there, right? And
even a 5-year-old Snapdragon would be quicker.
Yeah. All of a sudden now I could be doing 192K sampling on this thing, and it wouldn't even blimp, and it would be able to do warp stretching like Ableton can do on my PC. You know what I mean? It would just be able to do it because it's got the power, right? And it's not even a DSP chip. It's just that's just a normal CPU, right? There are DSP chips that kind of sit in the same quandary as well.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, but you're totally right. The only
More
reason
actually
they
lives
use
20
it
minutes
is-
down the road. I can go to his house.
Yeah.
Who? Sorry, who's?
Not, but it's not Alan Moore though, is it? Because that'd be cool if you could go and walk down to Alan Moore's house. You know, the big comic.
I've actually been on Moore's property. Long story short, one of his groundskeeper used to play in a band with a friend, and one of the guys died.
Okay.
They had a funeral there, so I've actually been on Moore's property. So,
who does he work for now, or is he retired?
I don't know. I'm sure he's just living the life, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Silicon Man. You know, he is the Silicon Man, isn't he? But yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree with the point. The only reason why Yamaha, Roland, the big Japanese ones, don't go for those chips is because why would I spend $5 on a chip when I can sell for the same price a device with a 50-cent chip that does enough for the customer to be happy about it? Why should I if I don't need to? As in, like the saying, why the fact that I can doesn't mean that I should. That's what I think about when I think Korg, I think Akai, I think in music, I think Roland. It's like they're not building the highest spec synthesizer like in the 70s and 80s. They're building the higher profit product at every given time. So the cheaper the component.
I'm not gonna get into arguments about profit because they're all of these companies will want to make a profit. That's their game, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, they're not going to just want to make a profit for the sake of wanting to make a profit. They have to actually deliver a usable product for the music industry. We are a bunch of really fussy, eccentric, fucking really hard to get on with people, right? Our industry is really, really hard.
Aren't we
to
just?
crack, right? If you ever ask anyone that works in the development part of music, they'll be like, brother, right?
But they still fool us. They still sell cells to us as snake oil.
Oh, of course.
So,
but
I'm not so sure about
Try
that.
not to.
no, there's snake oil in any
do.
industry. There's snake oil in any industry, mate. You just got to know how to sniff it out.
Yeah.
Getting back to your point,
like the Moog thing earlier, the Moog pricing discussion you were having earlier. I mean, Moog charges a lot, and people will pay it. So people can bitch all they want.
well, people
but
buy
they still
Porsches,
make a
don't
healthy
they?
profit, paying a lot of money for
People
stuff.
buy teenage engineering.
So,
People buy teenage engineering.
exactly. You can buy a table for
those
$10,000.
Let's not be mean to teenage engineering. They're cool, those guys. Now they sent me messages.
They are cool.
Don't get me wrong. Nothing about
not a sponsor. Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Let's not be naive. We're talking about capitalistic countries with capitalist economies. So the whole point is the profit, not and the lifestyle and perception. And what makes me really sad is in 2024 we are still being ruled by the advertisement class, by the marketing people. They are the ones ruling the market, making us sell it not to us, these 6 people on this screen particularly, and probably not to most of the people in the chat right now, but to the other big bunch of, I want to try to play an instrument, namely a keyboard or a synth. What are the big brands that I see the brands on every music shop, for instance, or in every wall or in every video? Oh, I see Roland. Then Roland must be very, very good, must be the best. So I buy Roland because I don't know better. I don't know beyond that because I don't have musician friends. I'm the weirdo in my group that wants to play synthesizers. And I'm pointing at myself, but I'm also trying to sympathize with not only newcomers in their teens, but also newcomers in their 40s that now finally got the money to finally afford that instrument that they've been seeing or watching on stages since they were teens. Oh, now I finally can buy a Moog synthesizer like, I don't know.
But you're right. It's the same. It's the same with guitars.
Hello, Robbie.
The amount of guitars.
That's what I mean.
That
marketers
people will want to buy
are
a Fender,
still ruling
a Fender
the whole music
Stratocaster.
industry.
because it's a Fender Stratocaster, not because it's the best guitar. You know?
Yeah,
Guys, let's try.
is a Gibson of synthesizer.
Let's try not to talk over each other because it makes it harder for the people that are watching
Sorry.
it. Yeah, we can hear it okay here, but they can't. So if Ian's talking, let him finish, and then keep going.
Ooh.
So it was just the point I was trying to make was that's always going to be the case that the Moog as a brand is a desirable product. Fender as a brand is a desirable product. It's the same sort of
Marshall.
thing, every other guitar, with the exception of maybe Gibson, but every other guitar manufacturer wants to be able to have the brand loyalty of Fender. Yeah, you know.
Hell yeah.
You could probably say the same about synths. An awful lot of people would like to be able to,
a Moog.
Be Moog.
Yeah, exactly. They have the brand, the branding. They hit the market and the audience first, and the stages first, and they hit it big probably by putting their brand name very big in the Mini Moog. I don't know, I never seen one, and which is exactly the same tendency. And then the Japanese wave followed, putting Roland very big on the edge of the keyboard for everybody to see. Hi, Robbie. How you doing? Merry Christmas.
Well, let's say hello to Robbie. Hey, Robbie. Merry Christmas.
Hello. Happy
Merry
Christmas to you all. Bit in advance, but hey.
Chris, please.
Well, what are we? 3 days, 4 days-ish away?
I get confused.
Yeah, 4 days now.
We won't see each other till then.
Soon be over.
Yeah. Hold your breath. You might go purple, but hold your breath.
Indeed. No, just to add my tuppence halfpenny into this value of things, cost of things. It's very easy to forget that if you open up a synthesizer, as some people have recently, and showed this on various channels, not this one, of course, but they've opened it and said, "Oh, look, there's lots of empty space. Oh, look, there's a PC motherboard in there. Therefore, my $4,000 synthesizer is running on a £150 PC motherboard. Where's all the rest of the money going?" It's a scam. They don't seem to appreciate.
I had a meme lined up for that.
What goes on behind the rest of it, and where that value is actually being paid for, what it goes to, and that's experience, that's history, that is knowledge and expertise, that's R&D, and there are many companies out there, mainly one, who don't do a lot of R&D as the other people do, because so therefore that they can pass those cost savings on. Fine, great, okay, that's the way they want to do business. That's fine. But so many people seem to be forgetting that with a brand like Moog, yes, there is going to be a sort of premium factor, but it's not just that. It's the fact that Moog have been in the business for 60 odd years. They've got knowledge and people, well, they certainly did have. People like Amos Gaines. You don't get people like Amos Gaines for $3.50 an hour. You don't get them for minimum wage. It's like in my business, I look at jobs.
Now. No, kidding.
In my business, right? I've looked at positions that I do the same, doing the same sort of thing for a different company, and they want to pay me half of what my company pays me, and I'm thinking, why? And I actually spoke to somebody in my company about it and said, "Rob, you're nearly 55 years old. You've been doing this thing for 20 odd years. We're not necessarily paying you for the fact you can do the job. It's all of that experience, the fact that we can go to you and you can impart that knowledge and that experience onto what we do. Somebody who is in their 20s or 30s doesn't have that, and so you're paying for knowledge and experience and ability rather than just the fact that they can run a software program or whatever." So that's what you're getting with with brands like Moog, hopefully, and others. You're paying, you're not just paying for better components, you're paying for the R&D, you're paying for the experience, the knowledge, the expertise. And yes, I am sure that the accountants will say, well, we could sell this for $2,950, but we'll sell it for $3,350 because we are this company.
Yeah. So that's exactly why I brought that point up, because I picked up on that little sort of Easter egg that Nick dropped, when he did the review on the Muse, and he said, "Hey, In Music have now taken over." I knew that synth had already been developed. Like, I already knew that. Whether it's made, and I don't care, right? The point is, I already knew it had been developed prior to the In Music purchase. However, they've put their little rubber stamp on it and gone, you know what, you guys, we're going to sell this at a price that we want you to sell it at, which is now, you know, some people would argue that does that degrade the value of the brand? Because if you look at the Muse, it's actually a really, really good synth. Some people would say it's still overpriced. Some people would say it's underpriced. And some people would say it's priced smack on because it's probably sitting where all the sequential... That's where I felt. I felt it kind of sits nicely with the sequential. Anyway, Robbie, this is just for you.
There we go. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's good.
I like that a lot. But tell you what, but you're talking about the price of the Muse. You know, it's a synth I was following closely since last year, and when it came out, and actually when we were in Berlin, and we were at this event, and the Moog management team, including Jack, were there, and they announced this price that they were going to sell it at. Everyone sucked the air in over their teeth, were like,
yeah,
what? Because for a Moog, that's good value.
Yep.
And I still think it's an incredibly good value synth. When you put it up against the cost of a Prophet 5 Rev 4 or an OBX8, which is probably 1,500 to $2,000 more expensive.
Yep.
And this synth, in my opinion, although I love those two synths and they sound amazing, they're very well built and they've got great brand and history behind them, the Moog Muse knocks them into a cocked hat.
Yep.
So I honestly don't think that, you know, anyone that thinks the Muse or even the PB12 here is overpriced is way off the mark. I mean, if Espen Kraft opened up a PB12 and applied his rule of you know, quantity inside to value of price, he would say, oh, actually, this synth is worth 5,000 because it's literally packed to the gills. There's not a lot of space in there at all.
Heavy as a bastard.
That's why it needed the
I
cooling.
played the PB12. I mean, give me the choice, I would go for the PB12 every day. I played it at Synthfest this year. Wasn't expecting, really didn't want to like it, if I'm honest, because it becomes something that I aspire to. I spent 5 minutes on it. So I had to queue to do that, but I absolutely thought, wow, this is amazing. I didn't feel the same about the Muse, if I'm honest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know.
Now I'm glad I'm not going to shows for the same reason. You know, so I don't have to break my heart on things I can't have.
I mean, I played both.
That is great.
I played both. Admittedly, I haven't played a Muse since May, but I played one in May. Spent about an hour or so with it alone.
Right.
After Lisa Belladonna had given me a personal demonstration, which was incredibly enlightening. But it was one of those synthesizers. Yeah, it was one of those synthesizers that you go to, and we love them all, and you go to it, and you think, I know exactly what I'm doing here, and I know what I'm going to get, because you know what you're going to get from a Moog oscillator, for a Moog filter. The surprising things were the diffusion delay. Which was very good. Awesome. It was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
That third pitch oscillator was very handy. The little corner things. I've never been in the presence. Actually, no, I've been in the presence of a Moog one. I've never actually used one. But those little corner buttons in each section that drop the menu into the right place. Very clever. It's a very well thought out synthesizer, and I think that unfortunately we talked about this, I think, last night. In May, you'd got the Polybrute 12 had been announced officially about a month before. And the Muse / Mirror, whatever it had been called before, had been sort of supposedly leaked. Whether that was a deliberate thing or not, we'll never know. So we kind of, I mean, I think maybe Moog panicked a little bit and said, we've got to get this out ASAP. And maybe the software, the firmware wasn't quite where it ought to have been.
Totally possible.
When Nick dropped his review the other day, I just sat there and thinking, yeah, this is really something I would love, because it's different to something like this. So it is. They would complement each other. And
that third oscillator's mad, eh? That's a mad idea.
But I definitely think that it was coordinated, and I don't mean this in a like, it was surreptitiously done under cloak and dagger. Nick clearly felt that the best time to review this was when they'd fixed those issues, and 1.3 fixes most of those issues, and so I think that's why we saw the firmware come out at the same time as his review, and that review is actually pretty glowing.
So to answer the question about what to do with you if you were to choose between a Muse, Ian, and the Arturia, all you have to do is live in Australia and watch the Taco commercial and just say, why not both?
Because the bank account doesn't like
girl, the little Mexican girl.
I clearly need to. I need to play one with the 1.3 update. But my point earlier was, it should not have been released until the 1.3 was out, because those people that bought it on day one, who had an issue with it. No, and I know Waggle hasn't. He's really happy with his. But if you've spent that money and you've got issues with it now, and it's only just now getting fixed, that taints the fact that you spent the money on something you were really looking for.
It's heartbreaking. It's disappointing.
Can you imagine you're a Moog executive and you've got Arturia over there, literally about to drop one of the most creative analog synthesizers since the CS80 because of its key bed. You've got those guys on, and it's 12 voice, and it's built on a known architecture that's been very successful. And then you've got your new bosses saying, "Come on, we need a big product, big splash." Lots of people talking about it, and we've got this thing that's not quite ready. What are we going to do? Are we going to just wait a few months and let people go, well, I can't buy my Muse in the shops, but I can buy that Polybrute 12, and it's a few £100 more. But so that you've got the bean counters going, "Come on, we need the money," and then you've got you're torn between the developers are going, "Well, we're not quite there." So I can understand why Moog might have and this is purely speculation. They might have decided to just say, "Look, let's put it out there, and we'll keep working on the stuff, and we'll release 2 or 3 updates, in the first 6 months of its life, and we'll get to that point. And as long as we get there within the first 6 to 8 months, then we should be cool." But it is interesting to note, and I will say, I've said this in the chat, this came out a little bit before. It has had one firmware update, which was just a minor thing. There's never been any reports of any tuning issues or any, nothing peels off the surface. There's been nothing. It's been a pretty faultless launch.
It is amazing.
Arturia had the advantage of the vast majority of this machine had been developed already because it's the PB6. The addition of this keyboard has been 10 years in development. 10 flipping years.
Yeah, I did no updates from a Matrix Brood. It's well built, so they have a good line.
Yeah, they do. They really, I don't know what they do differently, but they certainly do it very, very well. So,
no, it makes total sense. I hear you. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, it's soon be Christmas.
The funny thing too, though, is people want to knock all these companies for being greedy and being manipulative and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of them start as like Apple started in a garage by enthusiasts. HP started a garage by enthusiasts. Moogs did stuff at his home. I think he used wood from his backyard for some of the early mini Moogs. Right? So I mean,
that's true.
They all started out pretty small as enthusiasts, and they became massive companies that become what they are. They're not all out to get people and out to rip you off and all this kind of stuff. It's just.
I mean, the thing is, do you know anybody that works in the synthesizer manufacturing industry or development industry that lives in a mansion and drives around in Ferraris? I've never met one yet. Not even Frederick at Arturia or the people at Moog.
What about the guy in music? Isn't he?
Well, see, Jack is a businessman, and I've had my dealings with Jack, and they've both been good and bad. But Jack actually, at his heart, I believe it's in the right place. But he's a ruthless businessman, without a shadow of a doubt.
Which is a way to survive. Hi, Kent.
Bonsoir.
Hey, Ken.
You can read.
Hey,
I
Ken.
need you.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at it. This is section 10.5, revision B.
Well, hang on a minute. Wait. Is this the legal section?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Are you ready for this?
Excellent. We're ready now. Yep.
Go. Robbie's not allowed to appear on any stream other than Peer Sound without his co-host present.
Hey, hang on a minute.
You wrote
No,
it.
you mean Andrew?
Rewind the tape. What?
Let me just check my messages here.
You say.
Head says to Rob, shall we jump on Ranzee's show? The keyword being we.
Yeah, but I had to finish my sandwich
Just skip the bit
first.
where it said "fuck him" afterwards. Yeah.
And by the way, Ken.
Hello.
Ken, who buffed patch cables on your synthesizers?
Who did what?
Who barfed, puked, patch cables on your synthesizers?
He vomited.
Oh, is that how it's done? Oh. I pass. I've been testing Euro modules all morning. So
Just
I have a
did,
very,
mate.
very
I know I'm
happy
on the
customer now.
modular train with you.
Cool.
It's
Yeah,
like
I've got a
darts. You
lot
just
of-
throw them and see what jacks they land in. Just
But by the way,
Yeah.
so let's just go back to the close up of Kent. I just wanted to
Yeah.
acknowledge the Australian T-shirt that he's wearing because it's
Yeah, nah, mate.
very
Yeah.
Australian. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah, or nah, yeah. Two different
Well,
things.
Well, I can't
two
get away
completely
from
different
it.
answers. Yeah, nah is different to nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. It's very important. the
Well,
order.
I can't
It's a-
get away from it
That's fine.
because obviously Fiona is Australian, and
Oh, wow.
so
That's
I
why
tell
she's
you what,
good
when
at
the
the
rugby's
Carvera.
on, we're throwing grapes at each other.
to quote Spinal Tap, does she
Is that
dress
all
like
you're
an
throwing?
Australian's nightmare?
I keep saying it. I go, that Nick White's a big girl, mate.
The glutinous.
I
on
miss
her.
you, mate. I miss you very much. Happy to see you.
And you, mate.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well,
you seem to look like a bass guitar now, but it's
yeah,
Because that's what I am.
a Yamaha.
a Yamaha.
That's what I am. I'm nothing but a stick with wires.
Nah.
Yeah.
You
Like
know
the
how
one on your
the
wall.
you know how the pronunciation of Moog and Moog has just been like rampant for the last
Yeah.
I don't know 15 years. You know that I never really got the Yamaha and the Yamaha one
Yamaha.
off the ground
Mhm.
because I actually got
Kawaii.
corrected by
Kawaii.
a Japanese person once. It's actually Yamaha. I
Yamaha.
I don't know if they were taking the P155,
They
but
could have.
they looked
Okay.
serious. They did look serious.
No, they usually
Yeah.
start
But
with
is
the
it-
accent on the first syllable. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
But it's
Yamaha.
it's actually pronounced best.
I can't argue.
Where do we all
Sunday.
stand on? Where do we all stand on Akai or Akai?
I like
Oh,
Akai.
Akai.
Is that a thing?
What about
For me.
Akai?
Oh, I
No,
don't
the
know.
third
I'm
one's
Akai.
out. The third one's out. I'm like an Akai. If your name's Andy, he likes Akai.
It does seem to be a very Atlantic division. The Americans are very
I do,
Akai.
yeah. I do think
The
so.
British are Akai, but I think the Japanese would say Akai. Okay.
I think it's kind of
know.
in between.
I've heard them say it that way. Yeah.
It's kind of
Is it-
What the way
somewhere in
you
the-
guys say it?
Is it Beringer?
Yeah.
Is it
Beringer.
Beringer?
Beringer.
It's
Yeah.
Beringer.
Beringer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
ring sound. It's German, so it's ring.
I care less about them.
I propose, guys,
Now let-
I propose to those who, and I'm looking at you, Robin, to those who actually have contact with big events, namely Super Booth, there was a guitar YouTuber who started a series of videos about going around NAMM asking the people who technically know how to say the name of their brand. Robbie, could you do that? Put on the
Well,
record on videos. Ask
That sounds like a Jason
everybody.
Jervis thing. Because
Yeah,
he's
we
brilliant
find
at
him.
going around and saying, asking the pertinent question of the
3
day
questions.
is,
Mm.
so he was in the chat. There you go, Jason. There's your thing for
There's your
Super Booth
challenge.
this year.
And PSN will pay for it. Oh no, sorry.
Can you imagine him going up to Teenage Engineering? Can you pronounce your name? We don't care. Just give us your money.
If you need to ask, you cannot afford my interview.
Exactly.
Yeah, was it IKEA, which has now become IKEA?
Oh yeah.
And the Swedish, I think the Swedish is
Yeah,
IKEA, isn't it?
What? More
Yeah,
IKEA than
IKEA.
they were before.
It's a whole world because it's all about nobody there to ask and nobody there to correct, because we think it's unpolite. Why? I've been an ignorant all my life, so I'm happy to be educated at any given time.
Well, Eddie, you'll appreciate this. All the names in California were all Spanish names, right?
Yeah.
I
And
know.
no one says any
Tell
of
me
them
about
right.
it.
No one says any of them even close to right. So.
I know. La Jolla.
Well,
Los
like,
Angeles.
It's like
Wasn't she
Los
Michael Jackson's
Angeles.
sister?
It's
The
like,
mispronunciation of the letter J is rampant in California.
And
La
the
Jolla,
X.
La Jolla sounds like something you shouldn't say or shout in a car park after 2 a.m.
Well, wasn't she Michael
it's not
Jackson's
La Jolla.
sister?
Isn't
La
the sound you
Jolla.
make when you get your
Use the
genitals
jewel.
stuck in the door?
That's Latoya.
Hang on,
it's the jewel.
is that the
The jewel.
conspiracy
Yeah.
theory question, or is that you were actually really asking if she was the sister? Because I'm trying to work it out.
Answer me this: Why did a country who has difficulty pronouncing the letters R and L in English call their company Roland?
Exactly.
Because
It's Lowrand.
when I speak to people,
Lowrand.
they go Lowrand. Hi, Lowrand.
And I go, yes,
Well,
because it's sounding like they're saying hello, Rand.
Well, it must have been a marketing thing, surely.
Didn't they used to
Must be
be
the
called?
same reason for
What were they called before Roland? They were called
Ace Tone.
Ace Tone, right?
Ace Tone, yeah.
That's a better name, man. Just go with Ace Tone. It's so cool, that name.
Yeah.
Listen, hey,
You know what we
I
did?
bet
We
you
made an
it's-
Ace Tone.
Well, I think was it Wagyu earlier on. I think about a couple of hours ago in the chat said Roland should start a sort of sub company called Ace Tone. You know, put the brand back up there, and then use that brand to manufacture classic
Yeah.
Roland designs.
Yeah.
That would
Good.
be a good idea.
I think it was Wagyu. If it wasn't, I apologise.
I got a theory and a
great
historical
idea.
fact. I bet you it happened in the same room and in the same month that they decided to name the pedal division of A-Stone to name it Boss, B-O-S-S.
Yeah.
That was the American market not accepting the Japanese sounding or weird sounding, not aggressive enough marketing approach that the Japanese has. So they have to rename the pedals to Boss and the
it was Eddie
synthesizers to
Roll as well.
Roland.
There was always Eddie
Say
Roll. Eddie Roll. There was
Eddie
another
Roll,
one.
yeah,
There
was
was
Eddie Roll was
Yeah.
educational Roland, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's
Eddie Roll.
Eddie Roll.
Oh, is
But
that
the
where
thing
it
is,
came
with
from?
Roland,
Wow, I
yeah,
didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
the the American wing of Roland has always been the tail that wags the dog. And it's kind of the same with many of these companies nowadays. The American branch is, if you look at any lawsuits that Roland bring, it's always Roland US. Korg is the same.
Yeah.
The American branches are much more
Feisty.
sort of in control. Yeah.
They're feisty.
Yes.
So yeah,
Maybe a good
same
thing,
with
maybe a bad thing.
something similar happened to Ibanez, which I understand is the guitar division of the conglomerate, because they're not, in my view, Yamaha is more honest because they put the Yamaha brand and symbol to everything they make, even the surgery devices they use, the medical devices they do. Roland has one division for synthesizers, Roland, one division for guitar pedals, Boss, one division for guitars, Ibanez, which originally was Ibanez, because it was a Spanish brand that tried to create a manufacturing facility in Japan to build Spanish concert guitars. Problem is, like the Spectre Come?
Eddie, are you saying that Ibanez is owned by Roland?
It's in the same group, yeah.
Roland owns
Tama, Ibanez, Roland.
some other stuff.
Because we have, well, I mean, certainly here they're not imported. By
Googling
A
away in
million
the
people
background.
search Google.
Yeah, no, we used to deal with Boss Roland, which was part of the Roland group. So from a resale point of view, but Ibanez was distributed through another third party. I never
Probably
thought
because
they were
what
part
I'm
of the
telling
Roland group.
because it was originated as a separate brand that the let's call it Roland Group absorbed into their ecosystem, so they have the full band. Because I don't know, Korg not so much, and even they tried a little bit. Both Japanese ones trying to be able to sell you the whole band. You can buy a full, whatever you see on stage, everything you see on stage, you can buy it from Yamaha.
Hoshino Gaki.
Wagyu,
Hoshino Gaki
yeah,
is who owns Ibanez.
Yeah,
Is that
Wagyu is
related to
Google,
Roland?
so no. Wagyu doesn't think it's true.
Okay,
So
because they always come with similar distributors. They always come to the same space.
Ibanez had a relationship with Roland when they were doing the GR stuff. That's what I remember, because I used to have a GR.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
I know that could be where you're getting it from, but it's Hoshino Gaki.
Yeah, I didn't
because
think
Ibanez,
they
in
were.
fact, for a very long time, I don't know if now they do. I don't think so. They don't actually have a guitar facility. Everything they brand Ibanez is made in Fujiken factory. Ever since the 60s.
Oh no!
Is the Fujiken factory OEMing the guitars and then branding them Ibanez. They were still high quality and they were still made in Japan, but not as in Ibanez was more, to my knowledge, has always been more like a rebranding, like an off-seller.
They own
not really a
Tama.
manufacturing.
They own Tama as well, which are the drums.
So Ibanez and Tama are linked, right?
And they would.
And Camco, which is another drum company. So they are a musical instruments company. Hoshino.
I don't think my Ibanez was made in Japan though. My bass.
No, I mean not every Ibanez was made in Japan, but I think all the way up to mid 70s, they were mostly made in Japan. Then they started.
Jarvis. Yes, Ibanez. My Ibanez was made in Indonesia. I remember that.
Indonesia, China, Japan, or the US, depending on which and when and how and who. Yeah.
I think if Roland had taken over Ibanez, it would have been a prominent thing, because they not recently just took over DW Drums, and very quickly everything DW Drums was division of Roland Corp. And everything, all the distribution and all we got loads of emails not long after saying these are now your representatives, and it's all at Roland.com.
Yeah, okay.
So they're very keen to
stand corrected.
Yeah,
then.
But I still think that you were kind of close, because they definitely had a very close relationship during the GR development, because it was Ibanez that helped them with that.
500. I think 300 and 500 guitars were Ibanez made.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, not Ibanez made. Fujiken made under Ibanez brand. Because Fujiken is a manufacturer, is the factory. But they've been doing OEM stuff ever since they were created, including, because that's the factory that Ibanez Spanish concert guitars chose to start the product manufacturing in Japan. Problem is, in the process, the company had to they fold out, they bankrupt, and they just agreed to allow them to use the brand. And I think they changed the N for the ñ, which is the Spanish with the hat, the N with the hat, for no hat, so they could be more easy to pronounce, not only to the local market but also to the international market. That's why when it became Ibanez. But it was Ibanez from the beginning. That was the origin of it.
But Ibanez sounds like a toilet cleaner.
To you, sir.
It does. It sounds like a toilet cleaner. I'm sorry.
Do you know why the toilet cleaner formerly known as Jif is now known as Sif? It's because of Eddie's lot.
Yeah, Spanish.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
That's because of
Now I
flipping
understand.
Spaniards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here
Come
Jif
again?
is a peanut butter.
Yif.
so.
Yif.
Is it really?
So they change, seriously. That's why they change. It happens a lot over here in Europe, where they change. Certainly when brands become sort of
Oh, hello.
Anglicised.
you know, and but certain
Well,
products
you
that
do have
can't.
to be careful when you do international stuff. I mean, there's a famous David Letterman sketch where the guy's advertising his sandwich store. It's a Vietnamese place, and it's Mi Dung, but it looks like My Dung sandwiches, and nobody wants to eat there, right? So,
Yes.
I've got
Do you
better
know?
examples
Do you know the
here.
case? Do you know the case of the Mitsubishi Pajero?
Oh yeah, the Pajero.
Yeah,
Pajero.
Or should
In
we
Spanish,
say
means-
wanker?
Yes, that's the one.
Mitsubishi
That's how it
wanker.
translates.
It's a literal
It's
translation.
a
I mean,
name that Tesla should introduce, shouldn't it? The Tesla wanker, because it probably
it's already
Wouldn't that be
assumed. You
the-
don't have to say it.
that's true.
They've
Yeah,
up-
that's true.
I'm upgrading to the pretension or the pretentious.
but you know what's
Always
funny,
Tesla
Tesla.
pretentious.
Eddie? Do you know what's
Tesla,
funny?
they shouldn't be this warm.
I get him in it.
The Pajero, right, is now called the Pajero Sport. So now,
Ooh.
what Mitsubishi is saying is wanking is now a sport.
Yeah,
right.
competition
So-
wanking.
Well,
Yeah,
Now you
I
have
think
to
it's
wear
on the.
Thanks a lot
I
of
think
the
you see it on the-
Olympics.
Don't you get it at the X Games? All those.
I was just going to. It's the
15-year-old
Olympics next
people
year, isn't
invited
it?
behind computers. Yeah.
well, it takes a lot of energy, and somebody even threats about it. So yeah, it's sport. Fair enough.
The next car's Eddie. The next car's going to be called the Bendeco.
Pendejo. But you know what's the funny thing? That would be a marketing success in Mexico.
Oh hell yeah!
Sorry, Mexico.
They'd love it.
Yeah.
All the essays
Because
over there.
their
Hey,
culture-
Bendeco.
Their culture will take it because, as I said, pendejo, although the Mexican use of it is more as an insult, it's also the junk. So
yeah.
my car is a junk.
My car's
I
the
think
shit.
they would go
yeah.
with the joke. They would follow the humor.
They would.
One that
That
didn't work
was
well.
a rumor in the 70s, more of a joke, I think. But the Chevy Nova, you know, Nova means
Don't
new,
go.
right? But
Yeah.
you read
Don't
it
go,
wrong.
doesn't
It's
it?
like doesn't
Yeah.
go. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Nova.
Yeah.
No, but
Remember that.
if you split the word, means it doesn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah.
Korg brought out their new ass Volca, didn't they? It was. I mean,
yeah.
that was how we all knew that they were what to do with the Volcas.
Nub ass. Yes.
Yeah.
Get a
Oh,
nub
the new
ass.
base.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, it's a whole landmine having to market globally, because you find with the same reason, German, I think original German car brand Opel is Vauxhall in Britain. You don't see Opel cars; they're all rebadged,
No.
all renamed, all rebranded.
And they
Yeah.
they were all owned by Chrysler now, but they're all owned by that other group that own Chrysler.
Yeah, we have Opals here. I've seen Opals.
Holden.
They now
General
own Chrysler,
Motors.
Fiat.
Yeah, GM.
Yeah, now that they all got bought up by this big massive conglomerate now that own all of those brands, Vauxhall and Opel and Chrysler and Fiat. It's a massive company. Stellantis, thank you.
Fiat's had a
Keith.
great
Stellantis.
acronym here. Fix it
Loads.
again, Tony.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
You know, we don't make cars in Australia anymore. We literally don't have. There's no.
Because
There's no
Holden's
factories
GM, isn't
here.
it?
Yeah, Holden's
Well,
gone. They went in
Yeah, it's
2017. Ford's gone.
Wow.
We used to make Falcons and Australian-made
Yeah.
cars here, like the Territory and the Falcon. That's
Wait.
gone.
That's what
Hey,
annoys
Ranzee,
me.
what's
Rant
that car in
Ford.
Mad Max?
We just
What's that?
modified
What's the
them,
V8
yeah.
in Mad Max? What was that one?
The
That-
Interceptor.
that was the
Was that a
Delta-
Ford?
Mustang. Yeah,
Was that the Tirana?
Charger.
That was a Tirana.
Wasn't that a Charger?
Hang on,
Not
let
a
me-
Charger.
I think
I
Vulcan.
thought it was a Tirana.
It's a Falcon.
The
That's a
one with
Ford.
the
I was getting
bend?
confused between the
I think it was a
name of
Ford
the
Charger.
Interceptor and the
Interceptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one says on the field.
It's a
The
Ford
Interceptor.
that's
Falcon.
its That's sort of the character.
It's a modified
I thought it was a Falcon.
Yeah,
So we didn't have that one here, as far as I know. You guys got that car.
Yeah,
I didn't have that one.
I've got a friend who's got one of these, but he's got the Fairlane version, which has got the 351. It's got the 351 V8 in it. Beautiful.
What about that wacky car that Max drives with his wife around, like a camper van?
5.8 litres of burbling V8 goodness, people.
Yes. Yes.
That was the time.
Is that all?
We've got one around the street
Is that
somewhere
all?
every so often. Yeah.
Well, Kent knows what a V8 sounds like. He's the
I'll
lucky
tell you
one.
what,
Oh, yeah.
we had a conversation
Mustang,
only
yeah.
yesterday because the Chrysler's going. I said, all right, well, if the Chrysler's going, can we do the upgrade on the Mustang? And she's thinking about it. So possibly I'm fitting high lift cams and a supercharger onto the Mustang, taking it up to 739? No, 759 brake horse.
Yeah.
Kent, that'll be a very fast trip around the block.
Your tyres are going to be
Oh,
bald
no.
quickly.
No, this is going to be. This is always. This was always my plan to do this, and because she's maintained, she's still classed as a show car anyway. But now there's going to be a big aluminium lump sticking out of the bonnet as well.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
grub.
Yeah. I mean, look,
well,
Bonnet.
you can't fit the engine in,
suspension?
so just make a hole in the bonnet and stick it out the top. I mean, that's beautiful.
Knocked on the head, mate.
Yes.
Yep.
I've only ever seen
but-
one supercharger in person. They're not very common.
Andy, I know you're a film buff. I've got a question for you. What would
Cost a few quid.
win a quarter mile? The Mad Max Pursuit or the General Lee?
Mad Max.
Well, General Lee was good at
Nitrous
jumping,
oxide.
right? That's really what it was good at. It wasn't really,
What if Daisy was
Well, the
driving?
General Lee's
wasn't
just a
supposed to be a
standard. General Lee was
Exactly,
a standard lump. Wasn't it? It's just a standard lump in the
Yeah,
General
there's
Lee.
about half a dozen of them.
They went through a
Well,
few.
that's why
didn't
there's a world
Exactly.
shortage of them now.
Yes.
There's a world shortage of charges, sorry, because of that bloody show.
they? Yeah.
Yeah. Kent.
Oh, okay.
Diddly-did.
Kent.
And of course, you can't have the Confederate flag because that's been canceled for good reason. So,
For now.
Kent.
Yeah.
If you
next year
upgrade
it's
the
going to come back
motor,
into fashion.
Yeah.
oh shit,
Mate,
Jesus Christ! If you
if they
upgrade
cancelled
the
the
engine-
Confederate flag, I'd be wearing it as a T-shirt. I'd be like, yeah, watch me.
and that's what they do. There's
Well-
a guitar with it.
There's a good reason
The
to
deal-
cancel it. It's because of slavery, right? So I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, there's
true,
you can buy a guitar with it. It's a Dean where it's half Explorer, half Flying V, with the Confederate X, red, blue, and white. I think is that right?
Yep.
Is red background, blue bars, and white
and white
accents.
stars. White stars.
And white stars.
Yep.
You can buy that guitar. It's from Dean. You can. Sorry. Is it that or Dimebag? The guitar player from Pantera used it because they're from the area.
That makes sense. He was a real
That's-
fuck
that's
you
why
in the
the
world,
car
wasn't he? That guy.
That's why. Say what?
He was a real fuck you to the world sort of guy. Like he just did whatever
Oh,
he
yeah.
wanted. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's why they had an album called Cowboys from Hell because I think they were all of them Texans. Kent, if you change the engine on the Mustang, you also need to upgrade the suspension. Remember the potholes.
No. The engine stays the same. This just bolts on the top. That's all.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah, but you
a
give it
continuation.
more power.
Yeah, but she's a show car. She's not a racer or anything. She'll be-
Has it
So
got
yeah,
a hair?
she's not gonna-
Kent, has it got a hairdryer in it?
Yeah, you wind down the window and stick your head out.
No. We're talking about turbos. Turbo.
Oh,
Rant.
I see it.
Yeah.
Code.
right.
No, none of that. It's just going to be a standard, straightforward, high efficiency supercharger with a bug catcher.
Well, yeah. So a supercharger is basically the other
Yeah, but what
alternative to a
supercharger?
turbo.
Well, it's
Are we going-
They're
really,
very
really
different,
over the top
Oh,
fuel.
of course they're
injection,
different.
essentially. But I mean, it's
No,
Getting
hold
back to
on.
Mad Max.
That's
Look at the
much
blower.
more-
Look at the blower. They
Yeah,
zoom in on the
supercharger.
blower.
Yeah.
I was just thinking. I wonder if I could get the redo the polybrick with a SWAT sticker on it.
Sample
Why
that.
not? Nobody's going to be bothered about that, are they?
Well.
Oh, there goes the monetization.
Yeah.
Actually, Eddie already said
You
earlier
don't
he likes
give you
black
10
nylon.
minutes.
He
That's a
doesn't
good
get
sample.
monetized.
No, we were talking about Pajeros before, so
Yeah, well.
Well,
that was
Demonetised in
demonetised at that
Spain.
stage. Yeah.
How big is your Spanish audience? I don't count.
bye-bye ship. Bye-bye ship.
But cheap. I don't know. Yeah, cars are funny, and other products are funny.
Cars are
The
hilarious.
French case is the French case is the MR2. That's what the French rejected. They have to rebrand it. I think it was a Daewoo. Could it be Daewoo MR2?
No, it was Toyota. It was a Toyota.
Toyota. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, Robbie, that since we've
But
come
aren't you
on,
in a
it's turned
Pontiac
into a
Fiero?
pub,
They're very similar.
hasn't it?
It does tend to turn into a pub towards the end.
Yeah, I
No,
can
no,
only apologise.
It's okay. Andy, no, the thing
It's
is,
your
if
fault.
you say MR2 in French, it's a completely different word.
Yeah, I know.
I
know what
believe
it
you. I
means.
don't know French really, but I believe you. So,
It's
but
MR2.
those bodies, the MR2 and the Fiero, were used as kit cars a lot. They would build like a mini Ferrari on top of a Fiero.
Yeah,
Or-
and the
or-
fiberglass.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I remember them doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Kit cars, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you go in French,
Rear engine,
it says
wasn't it? The
MR2.
MR2? Yeah, rear engine.
I think so,
I
yeah.
believe
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Wait. Possibly.
But-
So in
But
French, it's
basically,
MR2.
wasn't it basically
which means
it was basically a
it's made of
Celica
steel.
though, right? It was basically a Celica, the MR2, with
Kind
the
of.
engine at the
Yeah.
rear.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was more
think
like
it
a
was
two-blazed
1.8, wasn't it? The 1.8 or the 1.6?
They weren't
Google
that
it.
popular. The Fieros were everywhere, but the MR2s
Was
weren't
that
that
the
popular.
fiberglass body?
I never knew. Never had one.
Oh, are you sitting down, Kent?
Go on.
103 kilowatts, the Toyota MR2. I mean, geez, that'll like ruffle your trousers.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but how much does it weigh?
that is
It does
really,
exactly.
That is
Exactly,
really,
Darren. Exactly, Darren.
That is really just a definition of a soft on, isn't it? Right, so 1.6 litres is what I was thinking of. Yeah.
On.
Okay. Yeah, but it's very
And the
small.
other
and
thing,
it's
can it go
fiberglass.
around a corner?
Probably not.
That one can.
Darren, you have to stick your hand out the window.
Going round corners, that's for wimps,
Well,
Darren.
you got to
know
hold
that,
them to a lamppost.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I love that Mustang versus Mustang. What was the Top Gear guys? The Mustang versus Mustang is a horse chasing the car. So
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
and the horse sliding all over the place. You know the.
The best thing about Top Gear was when Hammond used to nearly kill himself. But yeah, I don't know how he survived. Probably because he was tiny and he just crawled out of the wreckages each time. But I don't know how he did that.
Oh.
Like some of those crashes he was in, you'd think, nah, you're gone. You're a dead man.
He used to hide in the centre console.
Well, it's better than being on the centre console
Yeah, that's true
after
enough.
the crash.
Yeah, or in the glove box. That would be a hard place to get out of.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Where are you, lady?
Well,
I'm
James
in
Mayer
the glove
big crash,
box.
didn't he, when he went down that tunnel in the Mitsubishi? That was a.
Yeah.
You've seen that one, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the ski slope one. Is that what you mean?
No, the one where on Grand Tour where he goes down. I can't remember. Is it in Norway? And they just head down the tunnel as fast as they can. Basically to the end. It's just a brick. It's just a cave wall. The others all decide to go slow, and he decides not to
Yeah.
plough straight into it and writes his Mitsubishi Evo.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that bad crash was where he used his head as a brake, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, was that the
rocket
was that the
car.
electric?
The rocket car.
The electric. Oh, was it the
That was
rocket
one
car?
in York, wasn't it? It was because that was
Yeah,
at Elvington, just outside of York.
That was,
Remember
rocket
it
car.
That was the first one,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it? The
that's the
second
one-
one
that's
was
one where he was in
the
hospital.
Electric
Oh,
thing,
the
wasn't it?
second
electric
one was
car.
different, yeah.
in
From,
Switzerland.
I never saw that.
The Remac.
The Remac, yeah. That was pretty nasty, that crash.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. He spent a few weeks in hospital after that one.
But have you seen Freddie Flintoff's face after his crash?
I don't really
Yeah,
like to look at Freddie
It's never
Flintoff.
come out. What?
Yeah, no,
Sorry, Australia.
I think I have. No.
But his face, because
Scars, my
he
friend.
had that massive.
Yeah.
Oh, his. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's presenting something else now,
well,
isn't
basically, that counts
Bullseye.
as Top Gear, doesn't
he?
it?
Bullseye, yeah. of all things.
Bullseye, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
he's
if the
done
darts
bullseye.
hit him in the face, it won't notice.
He won't notice. Yeah.
Nah.
Everybody loves a bit of bully.
Oh, that is hard.
Look at what you could have won.
Just don't wind your window down.
Yeah. In 3.
Gee.
I'm bully
If
special
you're-
prize.
In 3, be the envy of your family with this bicycle pump.
A team of 2 people would win a speedboat, and you'd have to think how they were going to divvy that one up at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Rob,
Aye.
hello. Sorry, I keep seeing in the corner of your image, you have that black thing that looks like a music note.
That's my cock. No. Oh, this thing.
Yeah. Is what I think it is. Is that one of them?
That's his
It's a
pickup
Pet Shop
line.
Boy, isn't it?
Is it a
Pet
music
Shop
note,
Boy,
or is it you
Is
just
that the
supposed to
Roland
I
thing?
wish it worked.
That looks like the Roland logo, the Roland Cloud logo, isn't it?
Are you ready?
Yes. Love it.
Tomatom.
Almost.
That's it, I'm selling my
Intergalactic.
polygonic
Intergalactic.
That is.
That's what it sounded like.
And you do this.
Do you have that because you couldn't afford the teenage engineering blocks?
This is my team.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
And when you're bored, you
That's
can
why
just
it's yellow.
Stroke it, Robbie.
Does
I
it
think
run on
Red
battery?
Domino made a video with the
Yeah, it's
Very funny.
3 AAA's in there, I think.
Okay.
And you can do it. You can do it down here, you see, and then you can go right up to dog level.
Oh, that's
Indeed. It's not coming
I've
through.
seen videos of people play. I can't play a fucking tune on this to save my life, but I've seen videos of
Yeah.
people that do.
What's the
Yeah.
matter, Lily?
And they do give you.
You said you
right,
played that wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. They give you the sheet. Look,
he doesn't know he's fretless.
Yeah.
so they
Lily
give you
was
this-
not impressed, mate. No.
I
I
bet.
fret. I fret.
So they give you this
Yeah.
sheet
Uh-huh.
with positions and numbers, and honestly, it's pointless.
Oh. Is it?
Because there's no markings on the actual instrument that correspond to those numbers, so you're just making shit
Well,
as you go along.
Can't you just hang?
there's-
Can't you
Basically, a
just
very
put
long
some,
monotron.
put some like white
Yeah.
marker on it? A bit of Tipex.
There's no marking. There's no markings on a violin.
This is true.
And
I can't play that either.
When people play that, it sounds wonderful.
I know.
Yeah.
Or you could just put it in the bin.
Robbie, I have that problem when I play synths. That everyone sounds good except when I touch them, it sounds like shit.
But they reckon you can play Symphony No. 9 in D minor. So it says it right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's still the
seen
best
people do
sounding
it.
CSA
I mean,
heard in 48
I'd give it
hours.
a crack. I'd give it a crack.
I genuinely asked for this for Christmas, and my daughter bought it for me.
Lovely.
The best part, did you work the mouth?
That's
You
lovely.
asked.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
work
yeah.
the mouth, that's the best part.
Oh, he asked for
No, you have to put it lower.
Boys, I feel like
you know what?
like we need to end the stream. Sorry, guys. It's
It's like no
The
more
Pop Show
Tomato.
review.
It's,
5, 4, 3.
it's getting pretty
Well,
late.
that's it. Well, I
Yeah.
think we've hit the bottom now.
Not yet. We have it. We're not talking about songs or
Because
muffins.
Rob's giving us music lessons.
Yeah.
Lessons, right? Yeah.
Right.
Like you guys can continue this somewhere else if you want. I don't mind.
Giving us music lessons with a gollywog saxophone or something. I don't know what the hell it is. What is it?
It's an automaton.
We're not allowed to say gollywog anymore, Kent.
I love it.
Oh,
Are you
it's
not?
Yeah,
cancelled.
gollywog's
No,
another
it's cancelled.
You just
Confederate
cancelled.
thing. You can't
Yeah,
say
yeah.
gollywog. So.
So
Yeah.
But they were
Automaton.
never a thing.
you know what you should do? You should have the General Lee with the Confederate flag and the gollywog fluffy dice hanging from the mirror. and drive.
If you watch,
and drive down
have you seen
Sunset
Tales
Strip
from the Hood?
in LA.
Wearing
Have you seen the movie
a
Tales from the Hood? It's like a Tales from the Crypt, but it's all like black actors and stories and stuff. And there's
Yeah.
a gollywog story
Okay.
that it's wild. It's
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Nice one to watch.
Funny,
So,
I just
all right,
never
here we go.
associated it with anybody or anything.
If you
other
guys
than some sort of
well,
fictitious
it's a black character though. The gollywog is a black character.
if you guys want
Yeah.
some Australian racism, that was literally one of the most popular TV shows in the 80s. Go and have a look on YouTube for Kingswood Country.
Okay.
You guys
I've heard about this.
You guys would be
Kingswood.
horrified. You would be
I've heard
horrified.
about
That's
this.
the most polite part of it. Yeah.
And the main character's name was Ted Ballpit.
All right.
Anyway,
There we go.
and on that major
Bombshell.
Thank you to all.
On that,
Chatties, people.
we are
And
Happy
Merry
Christmas, everybody.
to all.
yes,
Yeah,
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas, Ranz.
We will see you
I'm
guys.
off to play with my
you
new
too, Robbie.
modules, so happy Christmas.
Yeah, Darren, what's your module? You didn't tell us.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're not going to know because we've run out of time.
Okay.
So you'll just have to guess.
He was lying all along.
It's
Fair
just like his Facebook
it's here.
posts.
It's
Teasing
here.
and
It's
no
a
lie.
Just a box. It's an empty
It's
box.
like it was planned.
But
Yeah, it's probably just a
but
box of
as soon as we're out of
friggin'
time-
bloody paper clips, and he's probably just bullshitting to
no,
us.
there's a bit of paper.
Oh,
We got Robin.
oh.
We got a module.
There you go.
With
Chris
might-
might,
Chris
Chris
might
might
be
be able to
remote.
work it out.
Oh, it's got a chip
Ooh.
on it.
Oh, look at that.
Which looks like a MIDI to CV interface to me. Is that a MIDI to CV?
Yeah, it does. That's
Yeah.
piping
It
in.
could be,
That's
Chris.
piping in.
That
It
does
looks
look
Oh,
like
it
a
could
MIDI to
also-
CV.
Chris,
I
it
recognise
could
all the
also be
parts.
the other way around.
Oh, it could be
CV
CV
to
to
MIDI.
MIDI. Interesting.
Yes.
Getting into the
In fact,
computer.
oh, go on then. Sit.
Is it
Sit
an
it-
excitement to
there you
disappointment
go.
converter?
Excitement.
I knew it
Oh,
was
it's
dope.
USB host. Yes, it is the full
I was about to
USB
say
host.
it's dope. Yeah.
I didn't realise we'd lost Daren to the world of modular.
Did you not?
He always was
big.
modular.
Robbie, you're not going to.
I am the only
You're
decent
Robbie,
voice.
does he-
Did you not? Did you
Darren,
not
do you-
notice?
normally.
Did you not notice Darren's sad countenance when he's on?
Yeah.
when he's on? Yeah.
Yeah, nah,
He hides.
yeah,
he hides all the
yeah.
modular behind the camera. That must be what it is.
Robbie, yeah, it's to the side. Robbie,
It's shame.
I've not touched modular for, I don't know, ages because I've been.
He
either
calls his wife
keyboards
modular.
or in the box. But that's
As it
why
should be.
it's a CV to modular. So I'll still be working.
Well, of course.
Get,
Conrad, enjoy.
get it in there.
I'm going to get in trouble. Darren's going to watch it back and go, holy shit.
I've heard it. I've heard it.
All right, boys. See you
Night-night.
later.
It's
gonna have to
Christmas.
go.
I'll let you off.
Merry Christmas,
Have a
everyone.
fantastic
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Take
Happy
care.
holidays.
Stay
you all.
safe on the roads
Everybody.
if you're out on the roads. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Toodaloo.
Yeah, don't stand in the road.
Oh, just stay in. Not when Kent's about.